Hey everyone, and welcome to Living by the Law, the podcast discussing fictional worlds and how wondrous and ridiculous they are. My name is Matt, and I am joined by my co-hosts, Jude and Guy.
Living by the Law is not currently sponsored. If you wish to sponsor us, go online now and book an appointment to donate blood. Donating blood is a great cause, giving to those who need it, such as anemic people, those with a disease, or our underground vampire overlords we want to keep happy. Wince your sponsorship message under your breath as the blood is drained from your body. We will hear you. We always do. This episode, we're back in the world of Shadowhunters as we step out of the light and explore the shadow world. We discuss Downworlders such as vampires, werewolves, warlocks, and even fairies, and how they are the key to this universe. Content warning. Drugs, violence, domestic abuse, rape, and suicide all come up in both the lore of Shadowhunters and this episode.
That was really good.
Yeah,
You
that
know
was
what
a decent
occurred to me
countdown.
while I was sitting in the shower this morning?
Oh, what could possibly have done?
Oh no,
Shut up.
it's not like we already did this part.
Okay. No, I only said the start of it. You know what? Okay, what occurred to me while I was sitting in the shower this morning, sitting there washing my naked fat body, was we have at the point of this episode coming out, because it's part 2, we're recording this at a different time. But by this point, we'll have 30 episodes out. Yeah. On average, those episodes are what?
Yes, technically.
At the point that this episode comes out,
yes,
because this will be
Hopefully.
episode 31 or 32. Or,
yes. Hope 31, hopefully.
Or 30 if we are in dire straits, but hopefully that doesn't get to that. Anyway, point being, we have 30-something episodes. So that means, on average, it's like an hour and a half, 2 hours per episode. So we've got like 60, 50 hours of content.
Agreed. Yes.
That's like over 2 days of us just talking dumb shit to each other. And the fact that is on a pool on the internet, someone could sit down and listen to us for 2 days straight, just fucking whiling on shit. And this isn't like creepy people on the internet. This is like a potential employer. You type in my name into Google, and this is like the second thing that comes up.
I'm 9% sure that is against the Geneva Convention to make people listen to us for 2 days straight. I'm looking up your name now.
Well, see,
What are
the
you
problem
finding?
the problem with my name.
the first image is Vernon Dursley. The top image, but
I've been using that as my Google profile, my profile picture for everything for like a long time.
Okay.
It was funny because I as jokingly set it as my profile picture on the work communication thing I use, Slack, and I didn't realize that it publicly notified people sometimes when you do shit like that, and I didn't explain it, but I just knew that some people knew about it,
so
and it was a bit of like a, ooh, hi.
okay. So
New
Limbo
employee.
by the Law is not the top. It is your 6th.
6th.
Yeah,
Damn.
comes
See, the
up
problem with mine is you can't. As soon as you start trying to look for me, you just see loads of like Jude Law related things.
My favorite thing is the thing you made in 2012. You made a health thing. I think
I
this.
made a what? Excuse me?
There's a
health, a Prezi.
there's a
yeah,
Prezi
made. Which I made for year 6.
For those who don't know,
Dursley face.
a Prezi is like a fancy PowerPoint that people use in high school, so they're not like they can like stand out from the crowd.
Do you want to know the best thing about it? There's 2 slides, and it's health with a smiley face, and then the second
Drugs.
slide, drugs. Drugs are a substance that change the way our body work, either physically or mentally.
That's it.
That's it.
That's the
Full
entire.
stop. End of presentation.
That's about on par with your year
That's
6
all you
work,
need.
work ethic, man.
Excuse me, dude. Asterisk on that. That is a reflection of my current work ethic.
Fair point.
Okay.
I have never put more effort in than I've been required to, and I've always put in less if possible. Also, holy shit, what the fuck? The next presentation called Homework is about Dr. Chang, someone who I have no fucking idea who it was. And also I've got black text on a blue and white design background, which is unreadable.
What the hell? Okay, I was looking up you, and I found Listen Notes. And Listen Notes, it's got our podcast on it. And apparently we're in the top 10% of podcasts in globally.
I mean, I'm not surprised by that. We forced all our friends to listen to this shit.
Yeah,
true.
that's a good point.
And I like how the tags are the name of the podcast, universes, Matthew Doyle, Jude Law. That's it.
No what else
I mean,
appreciate.
I'm still salty about that time that some bot sponsor messaged us and was like, "Hey, Jude and Matt," and I was like, "No."
It's so good because it takes the first two names.
Hey guy, have you left a Google review on RMIT?
Yes, I did. I think.
Cool. 'Cause RMIT comes up as well when you search your name.
I mean, it's also not surprising.
And also, I like how
No, that's because that's listed in my LinkedIn as my place of education or something like that. So
I see,
It just
I see.
picks
Do you-
the...
Do you know my
Kids
favorite?
always
Do you know
love the Google
Man, we're
review.
just fucking doxing me, huh? This is how this is gonna be.
do you know my favorite part of this Listen Note page is that when Jude Law, there's a Wikipedia link, and when you pick Jude Law, the Wikipedia link, it brings you to Jude Law. It brings you to the
Wait,
Jude-
where's this list? How do
We
I
have
get-
Jude Law on our podcast, apparently.
Is that if I go to images and go to how what's this listen thing?
It's called Listen Notes, and going over about our
Send you
podcast.
the link in the chat. It's on page 2 at the top if you type my name.
The problem with if you looked up me,
page 2.
if you look up my name, unfortunately there's someone with my name that's pretty fucking famous. Well, there is a moderately successful actor from California called Matt Doyle.
Nice. There you
So
go.
I will never be famous, unfortunately.
That's the great thing. I found out through doing searches against my name that there's like one or two other people who even have something resembling my name. And for most of those people, they have Guy as their middle name.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm one of a kind, baby.
That's true.
Irreplaceable. It's incredibly valuable.
But you know what also is one of a kind? A good universe with
Not
a
this
well-built
intro, because boy, howdy, that was shit.
is a well-built world, and we're bringing it back. We've been here once. We're coming back for a second time.
Second pass.
For a two of a kind. Back to the world of the Shadowhunters today. This is
Fucking strafing
Can
the Shadowhunters lore. We're bombing this shit.
That's true. Stealth bombing the Shadowhunters lore. Here we go.
But see here, here's a question, Matt.
Yeah.
For this is on Shadowhunters. Don't worry.
Good.
You mentioned last time that researching the episode made you start rewatching the shockingly bad Netflix show.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh, you haven't, Jude.
How far in did you get?
Okay. Now I do have to admit to I did start watching it again. I think I got to nearly the end of the first season.
Oh wow, impressive.
And you want to know how it didn't. I just. The worst thing about it is I got bored. It's not that I quit because I was annoyed at it. I just got bored.
Yeah.
It's just not it's objectively not a good show just by itself, which makes me even more depressed. And they add so much bullshit that doesn't need to be in there, and then they cut things that should have been in there, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
They could have spent time. We're gonna ignore Guy, by the way.
He
Jude,
just
do
got
not- don't give
so
him
much
any
milk
attention.
in his face hole.
Oh, this
When I
ma-
make a coffee, I froth the milk, and there's leftover milk, so I drink my very adult, strong, double latte, strong latte, and then I have a cup of warm milk. So I get energied up, and then I put myself back down again, right back to sleep, baby.
I thought I was a mess, man. After to date the recording of this podcast, New Zealand's gone back into lockdown. Woo.
You've got 3 days. Go fuck yourself. Victoria's been in it for like 5 weeks now.
Yeah,
I
that's fair.
have
That's very fair.
already made tinfoil hats and have worn them out into the street many times. How are you doing?
Well, I went.
Yeah,
to
that's
a
normal for
playground
British people,
yesterday
I
and got
think.
fucking tackled by a police officer.
Oh, understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. What are you doing? What are you doing near those children, Guy? What are
No,
you
there's
doing?
no. Do you know about this?
Well, yeah.
Victoria, basically everyone in Victoria was like, oh, well, we can't go to bars and stuff, so we're going to go to the playground and take bottles of wine and let our kids roam free, and we'll just sit around and drink wine. So they were like, no more playgrounds for anyone. So now the police are going
Well,
around.
yeah, if you abuse it.
about like. No, of course, I totally agree with it, but it's so funny of just the image of just like, hey, you get down. It's like a fucking 5-year-old. There's like a full-grown cop like chasing them down the slide.
He's on the swing.
That's gotta be. That sounds like something that would be like
You're walking past it. They look at you and you go towards the swing. They're like, don't think about it.
Don't you think about touching
Don't
that
think it's
swing?
Oh, God.
Step away, honey. Step away from the swing.
I sit on the swing and you hear like that, and then you see a cop like come hurtling over the fence.
No, you know what? Have you guys seen the movie Mall Cop?
Yes.
Yes.
It would be like
Watch
a
it yearly.
excellent. It would be like a shitty Mall Cop
I watched it
sequel
at
where
Guy's
it's the
house.
same dude just like hunting down kids and play.
Yeah, nice.
That's where we end the conversation. Anyway, that's a Shadowhunters.
I do appreciate the fact that Matthew got us onto the topic, as is tradition, and as per usual, we got right back off it.
Because I think I got it off it as well, which is the worst
I
part.
think
It's fine, it's
really. I got to admit, Matt is good at getting us off of our shitty cold opens, but he's the worst at keeping us on it. Have you noticed, guy? Because you and I, we take a bit more time to get off of the shitty cold open, but once we're on the episode, we're on the episode.
Well, no, but it's not even necessarily that I'm on the episode. I just tell you guys to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
That's been my strategy.
Yeah,
Whereas Matt likes to engage in the tomfoolery.
I like to take more of a relaxed approach to it, but also I've learnt my lesson. When I can't overpower you two. You two are bullies
too
at
powerful.
heart. You two, like Jude by himself is fine. That's why, because I will let you take the episode. But Jude by himself is fine because he'll respect he'll respect the environment. But when Guy goes wild, Jude is like his little rat following him into to help him
My
out.
rat! I was gonna say like
Fucking
he's like
excuse
my
me.
methylated spirits on my fucking raging
Yeah,
wildfire.
It's like it just makes it worse. I don't know. I don't know. I just needed an insult and I couldn't think of anything else.
All right then. You've called me fat today. You've called me a rat today.
Okay, the fat wasn't meaning. I didn't mean
I
that.
think I'm about to leave this podcast. Start my own one.
And next time I'm gonna call you a bat. It's just rhyming now.
I mean, but you can't. If you do leave the podcast, I do imagine it's not only a punishment for Matt in terms of like the fact that he would have to record it with me, but also specifically this episode. He would just be saying a bunch of shit about Shadowhunters. I'd be like,
I know nothing.
bet they get those
Okay.
shadows. Bet they get them good.
So back on the topic. Back on the topic. I'm gonna hand it straight back to you. Don't worry. But I'd like you to give us a recap of last time. It was only a couple weeks
So-
ago.
It is part of
Shadowhunters.
the Ghost.
Go.
I will
it's part of
invoke the sacred words. Dibs, not me.
It's okay, guy. I got you.
He was already going.
So it's part of the newly expanded Ghostbusters cinematic universe that they're working on. It takes place in the
I don't know if you guys could
good.
hear that, but that
I'm
was
actually excited for that.
that was
Yeah,
the sound of my
same.
soul leaving my body. Okay, so from now on, these two don't get to talk.
I was gonna give a legit recap,
no.
but it's cool. I can
No,
shut up.
sorry, you've given up your right to a legit recap.
Yay.
Piece of shit. So Shadowhunters is set in a world where basically like
Magic and
judo.
angels exist.
Okay, shut up. Yes, but no. It's where like fairy tales, mythological beings, both pagan and Judeo-Christian, both exist alongside humans. And basically, we talked about how demons and angels and how they created the multiverse we see. And there is a constant war between demons and angels, and a race was created between them called the Shadowhunters, and they have angel blood in them, and they're destined to kill all the demons and save the human world from them, while keeping in the shadow world, which is basically underground, like mist kind of thing, whereas they can't be seen by humans and stuff like that, and they always try and so humans don't know they're being protected from demons and shit like that.
Nice.
Cool. Is there anything you'd like to add, nerds, that you remember fun details from last episode that I've forgotten? No, I guess my episodes are never fun. That makes sense.
No, there was the runes. The Shadowhunters use runes.
Yes. So many demons and angels, they have magics. The Shadowhunters have their own magic that's not technically magic in a way. It's called runes, which they mark themselves with runes, which gives them extra abilities like being stronger, being faster, healing faster, stuff like that.
And of course.
I do remember something.
Yeah. And remember, do you remember Parabatai guy? Does that word sound familiar?
You know that those words don't sound familiar.
You never know.
Guy has never ingested a single piece of information that isn't relevant to his exact life. Let's be honest.
I mean, I barely. Yeah. I still remember all the Minecraft fucking block IDs back from when you had
Relevant to your life, exactly.
Yeah, true. You're right. You know what? You're right. I remember that angels are dickheads,
Yeah.
and that devils are actually kind of cool.
Yeah, in a way, yes.
We had a long debate about this.
Exactly.
But
So
the
it's interesting.
Parabatai is the thing that we were going to set up between you and Matt, where like there's like blood brothers and they're bonded and stuff.
Yes.
Awkward
That
silence.
We need a cricket sound effect in there.
Oh, I'll find one.
Okay. Yeah, so basically Parabatai is where you link your soul with someone, so you get extra powers from each of them. You can draw upon them, but you also feel the same pain, you feel emotion, it can't be broken, stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's a very close bond, which I would die if I was bonded to Guy. That rhymed, so it had to be true. That's how it works.
I'm proud.
It's true. Okay, so last time we talked about angels and how they created the universe with alongside God, and demons, how they fell, and how they're evil and stuff like that. And Shadowhunters, how they protect the world. Also, like how like humans fit into the world. Today, we're going to talk about I find the really interesting part of the Shadowhunter world. Downworlders. So Downworlders are the ones who have a mixture of demon and human blood. And we'll talk about the exact ways each one is different and stuff like that, and how they're different in like their body and how like why they're not all the same. They're all like because they have the same kind of blood in them. But we'll get into it now. Downworlders are supernatural beings who are hybrid of other species. Most often, these are creatures of human and demon blood through breeding or disease. They live in their own communities called the Shadow World, where they interact and exist together in places like the Shadow Market. These are often used for safety or to share experience. Often in a world where you can't interact with humans a lot, it's hard to connect with people, so they kept in themselves. That's why a lot of you'll see that vampires keep with vampires, werewolves keep with werewolves, because it's hard to relate with someone who doesn't have the same experiences as you. But they do spread a lot, and you do see friends across the spectrum and stuff like that, and like everyone gets. That's why the Shadow Market is a very unique place, because all the different Shadowhunter Downworlders come together in one place for protection. So usually under a Warlock, because they're the most powerful.
I do like that. There's there's a zone in D&D which I've always been interested in, which is this market at the intersection of all of the different planes of existence, and you get a bunch of different interplanar creatures there.
Yeah.
And it's described as this really chaotic and really cool place of like super interacting cultures and stuff. It's very cool. I like those little nexuses of humanity. Well, not
Yeah.
humanity, under humanity.
Yeah.
No, not sub.
Subhuman.
Dark humanity.
I mean,
I don't know how to phrase it in a way that doesn't sound super bad or racist or shitty.
humanoid.
All I'm hearing right now is Professor Umbridge being carried away by the centaurs. Filthy half human.
Like, yeah. The original Centaur myths aren't great on that part as well. What they did to humans, they captured. But we're not getting into it. Anyway,
Matt, we get it. You're into horses, okay?
that's not what. Oh my god.
It's okay. Frederick will always take you back.
Holy shit. I'm not Loki or Zeus. Calm down.
Damn,
Fuck a
true.
horse.
True.
So tell us more about the Downworlders, Matt.
More about Downworlders. Come. Dance clown.
No, but interesting. I do like about the shadow thing. I think like people in those kind of places are often like much more accepting of everything, which I think is really unique. How like when you mix cultures, people are a lot more accepting of everyone, because they're like, when you just keep to yourself, you don't know other people. Anyway, without getting too philosophical or cult.
No, it's interesting because like you'll probably get into it, but like from what I loosely remember, pretty much every well, at least two of the main Downworlders, like with the werewolves and vampires, is a pretty like traumatic experience becoming one of them. So it's kind of like that shared trauma aspect, I guess.
Yeah. I do agree. Like there's that sort of shared experience, and that's why they're uniquely help each other in that sense. But it's also like I think the weirdest and often the most inhuman inhuman, that's the weird word to use, you know what I mean, but cruelest in a way are the fairies, because they keep to themselves and they don't interact with a lot of other species. They often treat them like they're in their subpar.
Yeah.
In that sense, they're not like they're lesser. Anyway, cool. So the first ones we're going to talk about are werewolves. So werewolves, also known as lycanthropes or children of the moon, they're humans that are infected with a demonic disease which gives them the ability to transform into a giant wolf-like form.
You've got
Oh no, I'm so diseased.
you've got regular person in the street name, werewolf. You've got scientific name, lycanthrope, and then you've got edgy boy name of the goth kids, children of the moon.
It's the children of the moon. That's
You can see them just walking around in like a big black cardigan with like purple hair and like a pierced, bunch of piercings and stuff.
it's like the old people used to speak like that, like the ancient. Like you can see the vampires speak to a lot because they're older, but they're like the child of the night will never speak to the children of the moon. You know what I mean?
True, they're the real goth boys.
Yeah, that's the vampires are the real goth boys.
Yeah.
So you can be affected with a demonic disease by being bit or scratched by a werewolf when it's in wolf form. It is approximately half of the time you're bit or scratched, you get made into a werewolf.
Nice.
Can also be turned by a spell, or being born by two werewolf parents. Additionally, not all children with two werewolf parents are werewolves. Babies have known to fight off lycanthrope in the womb and have been born humans. Though humans born this way do get enhanced speed and strength from their parents, they can't change into wolves.
Oh,
In that sense. Yeah.
To just get all the benefits without. I mean,
I think being able to transform the wolf is a pretty big benefit. But yes, you do get some benefits of you're not just a human.
You don't get any of the drawbacks though, which is cool.
Exactly. No drawbacks.
No waking up in a dumpster naked after you wolfed out or some shit.
hey man, I don't need
think-
to be able to
yeah.
turn into a wolf for that.
I was gonna say, I think we've all been there.
Well,
Jude every week.
it's between you and me, man.
and the dumpster. So werewolves do not have to be in. Oh, sorry, I misread. Werewolves do not have to be in wolf form to be able to pass on disease. So if a human bit you, they might transform you into a werewolf as well.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
But they're just more likely to when they're in wolf form
right.
because you lose control a little bit.
That's kind of. I feel like there should be way more werewolves than there are. If all it takes is one cheeky little scratch from a person.
We'll get to why there aren't. So there is a reason for that.
Because I can imagine you put in a box away at work and your coworker like their hand brushes past yours while you're like you're struggling to put a TV on a top shelf or some shit, and their hand just accidentally brushes you and just scratches the back of your hand slightly. You're like, and they're like, oh, sorry, bro.
I think you would have to get into your
You've got it.
bloodstream for that to work. But yeah,
It's a deep cut, deep scratch.
that's a deep. What nails do you have?
Have you never
Yeah,
drawn blood from a scratch, my dude?
Not from someone scratching me.
Yeah.
Never. What?
Yes.
Who are you
Loads of
interacting
times.
with?
100%.
Like anyone.
I've never. No one has ever scratched me to the blood.
I've had a lot of scratches from people that have drawn quite a bit of blood.
Yeah, we know, Jude. You're into that, but whatever you're into. Changing into a werewolf can even happen under the full moon. It usually happens under the full moon, or at will once you learn to control it. So werewolves will turn to a full moon without training and lose full control of themselves, and can experience an entire blackout with no memory of the night. Also, we've all been there. I might be a werewolf on a few. I've had a few too many. Though with training, werewolves can learn to resist the change altogether. Also, they do lose their clothes. One key thing that the TV show annoyed me is their clothes change with them. How? How the fuck does that work? No.
It's
no,
magic.
Your clothes are gone. They're gone.
No, because I specifically remember they don't. Maybe it was just a weird first episode thing, because there's a few points later in the show specifically where they talk about the fact that they've got like caches of clothes hidden in different alleyways for them after they go crazy.
They literally show a werewolf getting changed into a human, and they have like they're fully dressed in like a suit.
Like not a suit probably, but
Well, that's
in the
just
third
inconsistent.
episode. In the third episode.
Later in the show, they definitely go over the clothes thing because I remember it
Okay.
being like a big deal.
Fair enough. In both forms, they have enhanced strength. That's human and wolf, by the way. Enhanced strength, speed, and enhanced senses. Also able to partially change between a half wolf and half man form. So this is when you get more control over it. You can do a half form if you want. So like you can make your hand a wolf and then scratch someone if you wanted, or something like that. So you can have the half wolf is usually like you have wolf ears, you have hands, a muzzle, some fur, but you still have the ability to speak.
You could go to a fairy convention and blend in.
Yes.
Why is this the most excited we've had Guile episode? Is when when fairies come up.
Because he's very in touch with his spirit animal.
That's fair. That's fair. You do what you do, Guy. We respect it.
Thank you for your. Thank you.
Always. So
Okay, Guy. We could do with more people that embody the sloth in our daily society.
the way you can identify a lycanthrope is either a distinct lack of silver, usually in their household, or gold ringed pupils around their eyes, even in human form.
There's no silver in my house.
There might be like silver that you don't think like that. Like that one goblet is silver. You think, or that one necklace
Goblet?
is silver.
Goblet.
Goblet, or
Do many people have goblets nowadays, Matthew?
I wish I could pull out a goblet.
I think my parents might have a wine bucket that's silver plated.
Yeah. Nice.
Or like silver, like the it's usually some households have like the fancy like silverware. You know what I mean? Actual silver.
Nah.
Fair
Ours is not.
Anyway,
I've got some silver in this phone.
We've still got old fucking
definitely.
Waitrose cutlery in my house, I think. Shout out
nice.
to those British
Bring out
of us.
We have guests coming over. Bring out the good.
Bring out
like,
the Waitrose cutlery.
bring out the Waitrose. It's great. So werewolves have actually a very good healing factor, even compared to some Downworlders. They age and die as normal humans, however, but they keep their powers and their strength even to old age. So even an old werewolf would be way stronger than a normal human. They can also see very dark in the well, very well in the dark.
In the well.
In the well, if they're stuck in a well, that's the weakness to a werewolf. If you get stuck in a well, they're just fucking doomed.
I mean, you're probably not wrong if you like close the top of the well. They're just
Very fair, very fair. Okay, so
What the fuck? What are you talking about?
you missed a whole bit of conversation, Guy.
No, the well.
Yeah.
Like I was in for that. It just came out of nowhere. It fucking.
well, Matt said, yeah, well's weakness, definitely a well. I'm like, well, in theory.
Oh right. Well, in theory. Okay.
Me when I see an old well, that aged well. Sorry. Moving on.
Me when I touch the rough cobblestones of an old well, I'm feeling well.
me when I pick up an orange juice bottle that says shake well, but where's the well?
Me when I see 3 wells next to each other. Well.
Oh, no.
No wonder no one listens to our fucking podcast. This is a destitute wasteland where humor comes to die.
I was gonna make a really
me when
bad
I
one
see
too.
me when I see a well being filled in. Well done.
Well done.
God.
It's over.
Oh,
me
that poor
me
well.
when I put a penis inside the well. I'm doing well.
Bad.
I'm done. We're done.
Jude set up. He's walked across the room.
He's gone.
He's actually done. He's left.
Hang on, I got another one. I just
Okay.
need to make sure I
Okay.
No.
I finished it. That was it.
No.
That was supposed to be the bomb.
Me watching Matt fuck that well. Soon may the Wellerman come.
Holy shit. We need to write that down. That is a great line of thing. If it wasn't so bad, because it was so long.
There was nothing good about that line. I don't know
Really
what
good.
you're
Do not
talking
quote me
about.
on that. Again, searching for my name. I want no fucking.
So what if your future employer searches your name, guy?
Cancel.
and he sees Vernon Dursley's face, and then he sees this, and then he finds this
Especially
episode.
because I use the no post on Sunday, so it's like a pog face.
It's like,
Okay. Back to werewolves. And not
Is that where we were? Oh.
So the history of werewolves. It is believed that the demon who created werewolves was the mortal enemy of the demon who created vampires. This will be discussed more in the next section.
Is canon?
Additionally, they are believed to have appeared first in the 13th century from Central Europe. Changing. So in the current day, it is rare to have random werewolves turning, as there are many safeguard organizations in place to stop this from happening, Jude. However, it does happen. So there's a lot of safe organizations which we'll get into why there aren't just werewolves everywhere.
I see. The Shadowhunters.
I'm just thinking like sex ed, except
It's also-
werewolf ed.
It does happen.
So make sure you wear your gloves to protect you.
Wear your gloves at all times.
You can get latex-free ones if you need.
It is free. It is not easy becoming a werewolf, by the way. In the first few years, it is difficult, and it puts the body and mind through a lot of change. The demon strain can cause effects such as waves of uncontrollable aggression, inability to control rage, suicidal anger, and despair. This is especially daunting for those without a pack to support them, as most try and find people like other werewolves in the area, and then werewolves trying to find them to support them while going through this. Many become overwhelmed through this because your body's changing, going through experience. You black out every month. It's not great.
Overwhelmed.
Okay, this is a really emotional part. You're just really going to throw that in here.
That's all right.
Many become overwhelmed, which leads to a higher rate of suicide and domestic violence among werewolves.
Okay.
Yeah, Jude. A lot of rogue city werewolves also are killed by cops after turning because they see a wolf in a city and they shoot at it, right, and they kill it. And
so
rural
normal
ones,
bullets.
sorry,
Normal bullets can kill it.
if they get shot in the head, yeah,
Oh, okay, cool.
they have a good healing factor, but if they get shot in the head, they're dead.
Okay, so there's not
Hey,
like a silver
Deadpool's
bullet.
fine.
Yeah, but Deadpool's crazy. Deadpool can come back from one cell. Okay, let's not get into it.
Captain Jack Harkness can get shot in the head and survive.
Oh, that's a better one. I like that better.
Yeah, but that's called plot armor. Let's be honest.
I mean, it's
I can do a full episode on him one day because it's very funny. But anyway,
Yeah, that also the rural ones often like get killed by cops from shooting at them, right? And if they turn the city, and the rural, sorry, that's the urban ones. The rural ones either starve to death because they get lost in the forest, or they die in fights with bears. They often-
specifically bears. What the fuck do werewolves have against bears?
So bears are like the apex predator out there. they try
So
and
watch
take them.
out, kids. Make sure, as a werewolf, you can't beat a bear.
You
a
can't.
normal bear. You, a magical fucking werewolf warrior, can't beat a bear.
Okay,
you will
I'm
lose
just
to a bear.
I'm
A
just
crafty
reading what
human
the
with
law.
a gun can get that shit done.
Oh fuck! Oh fuck! If the werewolf scratches the bear, bears.
Werebears.
Bears.
Bear,
Half bear, half wolf. All wolves.
bears.
But the real question is, when bear?
It's always a werebear, never house bear.
Never why bear. You guys are asking why bear.
So bears kill them, right?
Yes, there has been recorded in the universe of bears killing rural, because they're new to their powers. They don't know what they're doing, right?
Okay. Fair enough. I mean, I suppose I've definitely been a werewolf in Skyrim and just immediately gotten killed by something I probably shouldn't have. So that's understandable.
I was literally about to go. I've been a werewolf before, and I've been killed before, and I was like, what?
But
What do
I
you have
got
to
better.
share? It got better. I got better.
got better.
I got better.
I'm mute.
So
I
as
got better.
as kind of hinted to before, werewolves are very weak to pure silver. So silver, after way to kill one is a silver bullet will poison a werewolf from the inside, and they could just die from it straight up. Like
Right, okay.
it's just contact with silver burns them, and it's like poison to them, acid in their blood, that kind of thing.
Is that like a bullet going through you, or is that like the?
So
inside?
if you touch it, it burns. But also if that's why I remember there's a point in the show where they have to get a silver bullet out of him because he's dying
Okay.
from it being inside.
Interesting, because
Yeah.
you'd want to. Yeah. Because clean shots through would probably hurt a bunch, but they wouldn't.
They wouldn't be good.
poison
Yeah,
them.
you want to get it. You want to stick it in. Additionally, they're weak
This
to.
conversation is probably violating some Geneva Convention.
They're weak to seraph blades. With the angel weapons we talked about earlier. In the last episode.
Oh yeah, they're silver made, right?
No, they're made of adamantius, the angel metal. So
Oh right, yeah.
most
sorry, I
things
knew
that
was
and
a
you have
special
any
metal.
demon blood are weak to that. So
Right. Okay.
many werewolves end up creating a pack to ensure they're safe during a full moon, and often so they can share the experience and help each other out. Each pack has an alpha, and if you challenge and kill the alpha, you become the alpha. They can also choose to step down or leave if they want to. When they choose to step down and leave, they usually like present, "I want this person to be alpha," and someone can challenge usually at that point. They're like, "No, I don't like that person," so usually they challenge. But
Labrol. Do these fights usually end in death, or is it?
usually it's surrender. Usually it's like honorable and someone goes surrender. In the TV show, an alpha's bite is poisonous, which makes no fucking sense because if an alpha's bite is poisonous, then all fights nearly end in death of both people if they both get a bite.
Yeah, because it's odd, isn't it? How it's like we're a pack and we look after each other, but we fight to the death about alphas.
They've got to.
It's usually surrender.
The alpha's poison needs to be transferred to the new alpha. So when they surrender, it's like I surrender as they're being pinned to the ground, and then they start kissing to transfer the poison.
Cute.
Poison glands, just yeah.
Just make out a little bit. Just a little bit.
Rule 34, man. Rule 34.
I'd like to point something. Fuck's sake. I'd like to point something out about this. I don't know if I left it out. I can't remember. I think we talked about this before, but I will talk about this. Key. Alpha, in many fictional universes, when they have werewolves or wolves or anything like that, there's always like an alpha thing. There's alpha, and they're like the top of the pack, right? So, the alphas don't exist in wolves in real life. Like this is
natural wild packs.
Yes, in natural wild packs, it has been proven that alphas don't exist. That is a false
By the guy who originally created it.
The guy who released that book realized he's fuck, that is not I'm wrong, guys. Stop it.
It applies to wolves in captivity and only sometimes.
So yeah, it's very rare. The usual what the alpha is just parents. It's like our society. It's parents going, yes, we're cool. There are some like species that do have alpha relations. Like gorillas, I think have like alphas in their society. But wolves are not one of them. So stop making wolves of alphas, okay? There's no alpha wolves.
I mean, I thought it was always just a fantasy thing, TBH. But anyway,
It's I'm just so annoyed with every fucking time there's a wolf thing or werewolves. There's like I'm the alpha.
I'm pretty sure lions do have a head of the pack as well. But
Well,
that's
they're not. They're cats.
But they're still the parents most of the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Don't
There's
care
the
about
older one,
cats.
but,
Get the cats out of here. I'm talking about wolves.
Who
Not
let the
dogs.
cats out?
Meow.
meow.
Meow. Meow.
I cannot wait to.
You just had a very
Dude,
strange face. What's he thinking? Oh, he's got a criminal face going on. There's criminal thoughts
Okay,
going
let's
on. in that
continue.
head.
I don't like.
Release your crimes upon me, baby.
I don't
Shut
like
them
what
at
he
me.
was about to say.
No,
If I continue.
don't worry. Let's continue.
Anyway, so basically they have packs and alphas in universe. We'll keep talking about it. But there's also okay, I've misspelled a word here and I can't remember what the word was supposed to be.
Matthew.
But there's a thing between vampires and werewolves, but it is unknown
thing.
exactly what it is. Like there's a
Ooh.
war. There's like a huge
okay.
war. They really don't like each other, and they haven't liked each other since like the start of it. Yeah, it's like a Romeo and Juliet thing, you know.
There's a thing between them.
Yeah, they don't want to say it, you know, but there's a thing.
But flip the circumstance here. That would be so good if it's just like, oh, have you heard about like Tom and Jason? There's a thing between them.
Oh, yeah.
What? They want to fucking kill each other.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Office goss.
I don't know if it's correct, but I heard from Jenny that they actually want to rip each other's
They want
throats
to
out.
fucking murder each other. They've hated each other since they started working here.
Their families have been warring for centuries.
Their dads hated each other. It's
Granddads hating each other. It's been going on for a long time.
Aren't you guys just
Jason
describing your two selves at this point
Yeah, true.
to each other?
Dude, Jason also wears gloves all the time, and I think that's real fucking weird, but
He has these weird rubber gloves on always.
always.
And I have never seen Barry off the night shift. What?
I mean, he's an IT guy.
Yeah, that's
pretty
actually
standard.
true. That's actually true. He's probably not a vampire. He's probably just
He always freaks out when we get those garlic breads with our Italian order.
What? IT. Nate, what human being?
He just like likes to, he doesn't want his breath to smell bad. Can you blame him?
Fuck you, garlic makes your breath smell bad.
You look at the myth now. Anyway, so basically, it is unknown whether it is due to their demon creators who being enemies, or they are just natural enemies in like the world. Like you have like natural predators and natural enemies. But there's been a huge rivalry since the early times of them existing, known to be existing on Earth. They've been rivals and stuff like that. So there's theories and stuff like that, but they're just known there is a rivalry between them. And that's basically werewolves. Lastly, I'll do some interesting facts about werewolves. Wolfsbane is known to have a negative effect on werewolves, but it's unknown what it is. They just said, like, there's one point in the book, they're just like, oh, we'll get Wolfsbane against them, and then they never use it, and they never tell you what the bad thing is. So it's probably like kind of like silver, probably kind of like burns them.
Definitely a herb. Definitely a herb.
Oh, Wolfsbane's a herb. It is a herb, but it's like we don't know what it does to them.
Oh,
Anyway,
right, okay.
I mean, they could have just called it like dog fucker upper. Like Wolfsbane, are you shitting me?
Wolfsbane is a thing in like other other.
I'm
things.
aware of that fact, but it's still a shit name.
That's fair. That is.
Ah,
Fair.
yes. Let me get my pirate murder.
Pulls out
Let
a
me just
pistol.
quickly put a bit of this fucking ghost destroyer above my door.
Ah, yes. I get this. Well, we call it rat poison, don't we? We call it like.
You know what? Damn right.
Yeah, it's called rat
That's a
poison.
good point.
They also if they eat refined sugar, it hurts them. They're real health
off,
freaks.
what?
They're real health freaks. So refined sugar because it hurts werewolves.
Why is that a detail that was neat? Why?
I don't know. Some
Continue,
one
don't
of them drank a Coke and went, "Oof, that's not."
Ooh, spicy.
It's too spicy.
Oh shit!
for
You
me.
didn't get me the sugar-free one.
It's like having a diabetic friend. You need to
They're
get
diabetic.
no
Whales
sugar
are just
drinks all the time.
Can I have
diabetic.
Coke Zero? Is Coke okay? Fuck yourself.
Whales are just diabetic. It's in Canada.
No, okay. Important question. If I'm not a no sugar soft drink guy, but I know some people obviously are after their Coke Zeros and their Coke no sugar.
Yeah.
To you, if you go for a Coke Zero and they give you a Coke no sugar without saying anything, is that okay?
Yes.
Are they different drinks?
They.
I don't fucking know. I don't drink them enough.
They are. Okay, I gotta get this right. They
Google
are.
will answer my questions. Coke.
They're advertised as different drinks, but they're basically the exact same ingredients for different.
Coke.
They're
Coke Zero versus Coke No Sugar. Answer: Coca-Cola No Sugar has no sugar in it. It is sweetened with the same sugar alternatives as Coke Zero.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. I will fight anyone who says otherwise. It's the same shit. If you taste different, it is your mind. It is in your brain. You're wrong.
It turns out there's a subtle difference between Coke, Diet Coke, and Coke No Sugar.
Oh yeah, Diet Coke is slightly
So,
different.
okay, Coke No Sugar is the rebranded version of Coke Zero.
Yeah.
So they're the same thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Difference between
But
Diet
they
Coke
produce both
and
of them.
Coke Zero, the recipes change.
Can we just appreciate how they produced both of them, and they literally did no sugar because Coke Zero were like, no, I don't want Coke Zero, and they have like no sugar, and people will say, I don't like Coke Zero, but I like Coke no sugar. Oh my god, sorry.
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
dumb.
pet peeve of mine.
Okay, quoting the article. The two drinks are mostly made up of the same ingredients, with a couple of very small ingredients. Diet Coke contains citric acid, while Zero contains sodium citrate and no citric acid. But how does the taste differ? Go fuck yourself. The taste doesn't differ. Go eat shit. Don't care. That's the end of the article. Continue.
Do you know literally they released Coke Zero because people thought that Diet Coke was a girl's drink, like a women's drink. So guys didn't buy it.
Yeah, that sounds about right. This is said as someone that literally never touches Coke, so I don't.
Normal Coke's gonna fucking womanize me more than Coke Zero is. It's gonna give me titties.
I guess in a way.
Normal Coke's the real women's drink.
What? Why can't they? Why do they have to be either way?
Because one of them, red's close enough to pink. Who fucking cares? We'll make it cost extra as well. 'Cause it's a women's drink. Fuck this whole thing.
Okay. Anyway, we still haven't got past werewolves. We
So
got a bit to
today's
go.
sponsor, Coca-Cola.
Another interesting fact is werewolves sometimes hunt demons for fun, or if they're like threatening them, but like they'll do it like for fun to go do something. Additionally, they are immune to vampirism, which is good. Vampire werewolves would not be good to have around.
Are vampires immune to werewolferism?
Yes.
Good. Because otherwise, that'd be a real fucked up, like, completionist thing.
You're trying to get all the
gotta get all
powers.
the super
Gotta get all
powers.
of them.
I fucked up the order. I gotta restart my save.
Gotta collect them all.
Vampires. So this is vampires. Do you have any questions about werewolves before you get to the vampires? They're arch enemy of all time.
No.
Cool. Vampires. So vampires, also known as the children of the night, are an undead, a form of undead which is reanimated by a demon disease. Description: vampires look like people, like they were before, with a few key physical features change. They are unusually pale and thin. Sorry, I just got distracted by a guy taking off his shirt. Vampires.
That was a lot of skin I saw.
That's a lot of skin and pale and thin. Vampires, blood shines very bright red, not dark. Vampires cry blood instead of tears. Yes, edgy.
Okay.
No, and vampires also have no heartbeat or need for breathing. They also do breathe just to pass as human or to smell. So when they can use their nose to smell with breathing, but they don't need to breathe to survive. Cool.
I don't know what it is about Jason, but like every time he gets his lunch out, it's just really obvious that he's smelling it.
Is Jason the vampire or the
He's
werewolf
like
here?
dead silent, and he's like,
Is vampire? We're gonna keep this. This
they're both called Jason. Go fuck yourself.
There's two Jasons at work.
You see, the best part about this guy that you don't even realize, one of the main characters from the book series is called Jace.
Good.
Yeah. He's neither a vampire nor a werewolf.
No, he's a werewolf, man.
Oh yeah, totally.
Or did the show really deviate?
I'm not... No way, you're not gonna pull that on me. Vampires. There's nothing special about Jace. Doesn't need to be a werewolf too.
Yeah.
Vampires also drink blood to survive. Obviously, they're vampires. You know.
Really?
If you know anything about vampires?
Classic.
Human food makes them sick to eat. They can have both human and animal blood. They prefer human; it tastes better apparently. But they usually drink animal bloods because it's like ethical.
Fucking no sugar werewolves, ethical consumer vampires. We're on the good train here, boys.
Yeah. Well, the only way they're legally allowed by the Shadowhunters to get
Legally allowed.
to get human blood is that they have people who donate.
Whoa, what?
Yeah. So you can
blood
have
drives for
blood drive.
vampires?
Well, there's like people who will like do it, and they're like the promise is like eventually they'll get turned into a vampire, or like the promise is like they will get like reward, they'll get like paid for it or something like that. So
Oh, they just get normal people to do. Okay, right.
yeah.
Cool.
Well, who else is
Neat.
gonna fucking do it?
The Shadowhunters, someone who's supposed to know about vampires.
Shadowhunters won't give their blood to vampires for a particular reason we'll talk about, but also like they think
make them cool and
they think
powerful
they're
and
better.
even more sexy.
they think they're too good.
Of course they think
They've got
they're
angel
too
blood. That's kind of
Yeah, they got angel blood. Yeah. I think what's wait, I don't know if I've actually put it in the script, but if you if a vampire drinks angel blood, they actually become a thing called a daylighter, which means they can walk in the daylight.
That's pretty fucking neat.
Yeah, and there's something like apparently they were really common back in the day originally, but they're like really rare in the modern day.
Maybe the fucking Shadowhunters of the day were dumb as shit.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, fight me, baby.
Oh no, I'm gonna go fight these vampires again. Ah, why are they getting stronger?
Maybe I can stop bleeding everywhere.
They're sucking it up. Tables suck. Just blood on the table. Sorry.
Right, so here's the plan. Jason goes in, the Shadowhunter fucks him up, but he gives a scratch, and then we all go in with our straws.
Oh, that's gonna sound horrible. Holy shit. Vampires, unlike most Downworlders, can do drugs. Important. So most Shadowhunters, the drugs will either have very little effect on them, or it'll go through the system too fast, kind of like Captain America. But Downworlders, the way vampires, the way they do drugs is by consuming the blood of someone who is intoxicated or drugged.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Let me pop open a cold one with the boys.
Yeah, you have to give someone else to drink it, then you just suck their blood.
Let me go stand on that alley off of King Street real quick.
Talk about secondhand smoker. Secondhand sucker, more like.
Does
I
that
also think you could get like a smoker who's smoking a cigarette,
Yeah.
and you get addicted to sucking up smoker blood.
Yep.
What the fuck?
Yep. Yeah.
That must be. It's so much extra work. Vampires have it tough, man.
But they're like they really enjoy drinking blood, so it's like you get to eat pizza, and while you're eating pizza, you get drunk or get high.
But if you're addicted, it's
like-
like,
it's like
I have to eat this one specific pizza from this one specific restaurant.
That's
Otherwise,
fair.
I'm gonna feel like shit.
That is also very fair. But also, it's like I kind of see it as like weed brownies. You know what I mean? They're eating something to get high. They're drinking
that's
blood
fair.
to get high.
Well, okay, recreationally, sure, but once it becomes an addiction, then you've got yourself a little itsy bitsy problem.
I think addiction
Especially,
is a
like, 'cause
problem
the
for everyone. but
The difference with like brownies and stuff are like the kind of edibles that humans may indulge in. It doesn't tend to be in like food that you can live off of. Like you can't live off of brownies, whereas they have to live off of the blood.
That's
So
fair.
they're gonna
Yeah.
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, they have it real tough, don't they?
The
God, what if
creation. Additionally, and talking about real tough, the creation of vampires is a real fucking tough thing. It's not just get scratched, you become a werewolf.
Bullshit.
So to become a vampire, humans need to have been recently bitten or have consumed vampire blood,
Okay.
and then they need to die.
Oh,
So
fuck,
the-
what's his name? Jajo.
Jaja, yes.
Yes.
So
So
it's
Matt
like-
had a D&D character once who was like, oh, what's this red vial of blood? Why does the sunlight hurt?
So
No, it's worse than
okay.
that. I was
Yeah,
I
as my cleric
misidentified.
advised me to drink it.
I did an identification on the vial and I was misinformed about its contents and was like, oh yeah, you should drink this.
Yes,
And
I was
then
like,
he drank
okay.
it, and
And then he was like, oh, why does sunlight hurt?
So as a character, I was like, my character was like,
An
oh,
absolute fucking moron.
yeah, he had low intelligence and he trusted his party. And then he's like, I'm like, what is this? And they're like, oh, drink it. It looked like a health potion. So I'm like, okay, slightly darker. I don't know. Maybe this like boosts my max health. Drank it. I turned into a vampire. I died like 5 days later. Just to become a
No,
vampire.
you didn't die, but you were about to.
Yeah. No, I died from tears of exhaustion.
No, you had the necklace that stopped it happening.
No, that's
was that
no,
close to
no.
dying
That
from
stopped.
tears of exhaustion.
That stopped the effects of exhaustion. It did kill me. Anyway, we're not getting into it. I did die from
Anyway,
exhaustion.
good times. Okay, so they have to drink the blood or be
No.
bitten, and then
yeah,
die.
and be bitten. Sorry.
Okay,
Sorry.
that's not that much harder. It's just like you had a.
It's more
if
that
you-
they have to die afterwards.
Yeah.
Well, but it's also the thought of like, oh, I'm going to, a werewolf transformation, like scratch. Oh, now you're a werewolf. But in this, it's like, oh, bite, murder. Like it's one extra step. You got a knife on hand. You know what exactly.
There's
Yes,
a bit more as
they
well.
have to have vampire blood in their system. That's the key. The vampire
So you gotta
disease
wait for a
has to
bit?
be in. No, like it's fine if you get as long as you drank it. But the problem is like if you wait too long, it'll go out of your system. You know what I mean? You're dead.
Okay, I stand by my point.
It'll
Drink
let
or
loose.
bite, then murder.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the system. Then once
It's not necessarily much longer.
But
than
there's
the
once
original.
dead-
It's just a more specific.
once dead, here we go. Once dead, they must be buried 6 foot under the ground. Then they must dig themselves up from out of their own grave.
I could automate that.
I can automate that.
Are vampires immortal?
Sorry?
Are vampires immortal?
Yes.
Okay, I could fucking automate. 100% I could automate that. You shitting me? I got a Raspberry Pi right here. I got some servos. Fucking get this shit going.
That's fair. It's also like traditional to bury them properly and stuff like that.
You could also
Because they are dying. They're dead.
But also you could
and they
get
come
some
back to
like
life.
air pumps under the ground and like aerate the dirt so it's like becomes looser. and you can
Easier to
carry
bury, I
it.
guess. Yeah.
I'm just thinking about how I can mass produce.
Massachusetts vampires.
Yeah, shut up. I'll do what I want.
Vampires must drink fresh human blood within 24 hours of their transformation, or they will die. So that is the one point where they have to drink human blood because they're very starved of any blood in their system. Like werewolves, vampires can the transformation to vampire can cause uncontrollable aggression. Also, in addition, a thirst for blood, obviously, because they're vampires. This can lead to them doing things they wouldn't normally do without guidance or help. So this can lead to a lot of people killing their close relatives and stuff like that after they bury them and they're at their funeral. They rise and kill them because they don't know what they're doing. You know what I mean? This is a key. This is why it's a key for a new vampire to be accompanied by a friend or sire to support them through the transformation. A vampire.
Put a cage over the top of the grave so they dig straight up into it.
A vampire.
And shade cloth in case it's during the day.
True.
Put up a shade cloth. It's good. No hat, no play, no
How-
fun.
okay,
no
also,
hat, no
once they-
play, no vampire today.
Yeah, true. How long after they die do we have to put them in the ground? Like, is there a time limit
24
on that
hours.
shit too?
It's about 24 hours usually.
Okay. Is that like a
It's like-
normal transformation process, or is that a time limit?
Yeah, it's like they say they don't really give a time. They basically say if we don't do it the next night, he's dead today. If they don't do it tomorrow,
Okay,
next night,
cool.
he's not going to be able to do it. You know what I mean?
Right. So like 24:36.
Yeah, it's like you got one night to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, because they have to do it at night because they're going to come up from the grave and they won't be able to really control them. They'll be like, so the shake off wouldn't be great unless you really covered it. But
At least you went hard on that shit.
yeah, exactly.
Buried in the middle of a forest, he'll be fine.
So a vampire and their sire, the person who gives them the blood, they feel a connection, and you can feel when the sire dies. Additionally, the dirt of a vampire's grave, which they were buried in, has special properties, as vampires know when it has been disturbed. Vampires use this to send messages to each other. Clans will use jars of dirt of each vampire to alert them to something bad's happened.
I was gonna say you could do like automation.
I got a jar of dirt.
I'm gonna try to, yeah, and you
And
can't
guess
have
what's
it.
Vampires would be the best. You just put like a fucking ring of dirt around your castle, and someone just steps across it. You're like, ah!
Hey, I got him. You have to
Someone's
disturb it
got
though.
invisibility powers,
They can
just put,
clearly
like,
they can clearly step over it, but you gotta like, yeah, you know what I mean. Like you
Also,
gotta
is
disturb
6 meters the minimum or the
6
exact
feet.
amount?
6 feet.
6 feet. Sorry.
it.
Is
There's no
6 feet
exact. That's just like normal burial.
Is that the minimum?
There's
'Cause
no
depending on
limits
how
on
much.
this.
Okay, consider this. I assist and make it very easy for them to dig up. I get them to dig up through like 10 meters of dirt. This motherfucker is going to be able to cover his whole shit in dirt and be like the ultimate defense system. Because it's all
They might have starved by the time they get to the top.
No, they won't. They'll be fine. I'll put like bodies on the way up so they can. Refill.
Give him a refill station.
Holy
It's like
shit!
a marathon. You got
Has to be fresh blood. It has to be fresh blood. I can't see bodies.
Yeah, I'll fucking kill. I'll put the guy in the bottom of the grave, and then I'll put the dirt on, and then I'll put a body in, and then I'll put dirt on.
Then you'll put a
freshly
live
killed.
person there.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
they'll
love this
suffocate
automation
it, it'll be
system. It's so dumb. Yeah, so they basically so if something bad's happened, they will like shake their dirt pile and be like, oh, and they'll be like, oh shit, I've got to come back, my dirt's. Something bad's happened.
Shaka.
Yeah,
Shaka can.
you accidentally knock it, they all come running. Oh fuck, guys, I didn't mean it. I
An
knocked it over.
earthquake in some part of the world where all their jars are stored.
Oh.
A great disturbance in the force, in the dirt.
It's like many dirt particles cried out. we're shaking all at once, then suddenly stopped.
Oh.
Suddenly silence. Anyway, the abilities. So vampires as werewolves have enhanced strength, grace, and speed. Additionally, they have fast healing, but not as fast as werewolves. They're usually fast. They're usually seen as faster and stronger, especially in human form, but they're like not as good as healing and stuff like that. They also have enhanced smell, sight, and hearing. Can instantly adjust their eyesight to any light levels. They also have the power of Incanto, which they use to mesmerize and control others. So they can. So this one they learn over time, and it takes a while to practice. But it usually doesn't work on Downworlders unless they're really powerful. But you can like usually control the minds of like humans and be like, you'll do this. Here, let me suck your blood.
Hey,
The old Charmin.
Yeah.
Charm person at its finest.
Exactly. Additionally, they have the ability to shapeshift into bats, rats, and dust clouds while maintaining their concentration.
Bats and dust cloud. Oh my.
Yeah, and they maintain their intelligence while they're bats, rats, and dust clouds. They can maintain their
Awesome.
I am a very intelligent dust cloud.
I'm a very smart rat.
mind.
I am so intelligent. I will defeat you with my mind power alone. What is that vacuum?
Oh no. Who needs wolfbane? They literally turn to rats. It's rat poison gets vampires.
Yeah, you attack their castle, you surround their castle in rat poison. They try to run away as a rat and just run straight into it.
That reminds me. Have you read the Witches book? You know Witches by
Oh yes, Roald Dahl. Yes.
Roald Dahl, yeah. And they turn all the witches into rats, and then they into a giant castle like mice, and they just release cats into the castle to kill them all.
Fucking excellent. That is very good. I
They're like,
that.
we got a bunch
I
of
like that.
stray cats, go. Also, because they are dead, they are resistant to extreme temperatures. They don't really get tired at all. They don't really need to sleep. But they do sleep for like comfort and stuff like that, like a routine. They can go into their coffin during the day to be like, yeah, I don't want to stress, but they don't really get tired as much as humans do. Vampires can't be tracked in the normal ways like people would track, fucking like warlocks and stuff like that, which is weird because they're doing the show. Anyway, the show is not canon. You can't track vampires the same way. Vampires also have retractable fangs, so they used to suck blood. They can go in and out, which they come out to feed. Often when they like see blood, they like uncontrollable come out. Usually, especially young vampires, or like you can see them come down. They'll be like when they see blood, stuff like that. It's a real urge inside them. It's like when you haven't eaten for like 2 days, and then you see a pizza, and you're like.
Vampires become normalized, and it's like, all right, we're just doing a couple tests. Have you passed your drug test? Yes. Have you done your police background check? Yes. Are you a vampire? No. Are you sure? Like holding like a can of blood up, like, oh. No.
Are you a werewolf? Sticks like silver, like hands them a silver dagger.
I hope you don't mind holding this piece of metal innocently. It's just your employee access card.
Get him!
I knew it.
We got him, boy.
I knew it.
I knew Jason was a vampire.
I knew it.
Cuff him, boys.
Silver cuffs.
No, that's actually horrible. Holy shit.
Handcuffs made of silver. Just
That's
God.
like putting fucking manacles in like boiling.
Yeah.
fluid.
What the fuck, dude? Ugh.
What, it'd be
Heat metal spell.
Yeah,
Heat
it'd
metal.
be effective, man.
Anyway, vampire saliva also heals wounds quickly. So when bitten, it stings, and then the saliva works to relax the muscles, making it actually a very
It's like a
pleasure.
It's like a vampire bat.
Yeah, it's actually a very pleasurable experience for the victim to hear about it.
Pleasurable.
Yeah, well,
Nice.
it is like known that like it's okay. How do I say this without doing it? There's a fucking a vampire. If you get bit, it's nice. You know what I mean?
Fetish.
Fetish. Sorry, I'm into it. But yes, if getting bit by a vampire is a nice experience, pleasurable.
Yeah, people get like addicted to it in the show.
Yeah,
It's kinda
there's like a
weird.
whole thing of like you want to come back for more, stuff like that. Anyway, also their saliva increases your red blood count in around the wound, and also the victim as a whole. So it heals the wound faster, but also makes them stronger and healthier.
Nice.
So yeah, it's actually good being bitten in a way, for you, as long as they don't kill you. You know, that's the thing.
Yeah, if they can control themselves.
Exactly. So vampires can create subjugates by feeding by making humans feed on vampire blood.
Anemia.
So if a human feeds on a
Maybe we're
vampire's
anemic.
blood, they become slightly controlled by them. In that sense, so if you don't kill them, if you just leave it, they become controlled by them. So they become loyal and serve vampires, and also a source of feeding for vampires. They are usually half turned by computing the blood. They get some of the powers, but they still age like humans, but they're much slower. So they're old people. They can live like double the way a human will live. They're usually willing victims and serve day-to-day things for the vampires. They like servants and stuff like that. They are now illegal to create more. It's illegal in the vampire universe to create more. But this law was only put in 1962, and so all the ones around today were created before that.
And vampires.
So-
is that true?
Probably not. It's some
I was gonna
vampires.
say.
Obviously, some vampires break the law, but
You're
all
telling me vampires aren't doing sneaky shit?
All-
That's not very vampiric of them.
all lawful vampires. That's racist to vampires. How dare you?
No entire group of people is fully lawful.
That's true, but you can't just say vampires. They're gonna break the law.
I could say that.
I don't know.
about
I don't know.
anyone, but
I don't know, guy. Have you met the hobbits? They're pretty lawful.
Man, have you heard of a troubler of the peace called Bilbo Baggins? Disturber of
Disturber of
the
the peace. You've been labeled a disturber of the peace. No, that's Gandalf. Oh,
peace. Also, anemic people line up for fucking vampire.
Yeah,
bats.
yeah.
you know, it's
I was
good.
I was very violently googling disease that reduces number of red blood cells.
Yeah, get vampire bit.
Because Google has reduced me to a gibbering fool.
But yes, so most of the ones, the legal ones are created now. I've been living for a while because the law was only created about 80 years ago now. So
I mean, they're all supposedly immortal apart from being, murdered, so we don't need more.
yeah, but not creating vampires. It's creating subjugates. So subjugates aren't.
Oh,
they live for
my bad, my
like
bad.
200 years, but they're not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah. So that's the thing that's illegal to create more. It's also illegal to create more vampires, but if they do it, it's like it happens. You know what I mean? It's illegal to try to do it, but if it happens, it happens.
The clave is kind of a bit like sometimes they're like really harsh, but sometimes they're not. Like it's really weird sometimes because like the clave will say like, oh, it's illegal if you turn to a vampire. Then they do it, and then there's no consequences, and I'm like,
It's illegal to try to murder someone, but if you actually murder someone,
yeah, it's like don't do it. It's like, oh, I did it. Oh, okay, but don't do it again. You know,
ridiculous.
So they're immortal as we've said, but they're also sterile. Vampires are sterile. They can't have babies or anything. They're dead, but they can have sex. It's
Good.
in canon.
More fetish material.
They can get
Congratulations.
Yeah.
somehow they can get hard. I don't know how, but they get hard. I hate.
See,
you know
what
what I
I'm
hate?
saying is,
You know what I hate about the while we're on vampires, Twilight. Will never do an episode on Twilight, but one key thing about Twilight, they explain how the vampires can get hard in Twilight.
do
They
they?
explain it.
They explain it because they're like, how? You don't have blood in your system, you can't do it. And they're like, well, vampires produce a sort of fluid,
How do
like a
vampires
poison kind of thing,
get hard
like a venom that makes
in
their
Twilight?
penis hard. It's really bad.
How does Edward Cullen get it up? That's the first article that comes up.
Instead
of blood, vampire
My Little
makes blood
Pony.
with venom, and
There
if
you
venom
go.
holds the power to turn a human into a vampire, then it can probably give Cullen a major hard on.
Yeah, they literally explain it. They use their own vampire venom to get their penis hard.
Gotta be horny, man.
I don't like that.
Hell.
I hope that's not how it works in this universe.
No,
because
like,
their penis is a giant stinger. Then their penis is just a giant stinger.
Fuck. Everyone's a bee.
They're just bees. Vampires are the bees. What? They're probably like wasps, actually.
Yeah,
Fuck them.
yeah. They can sting a few times.
Yeah. They die. They sting once and die. Could you get infected? Could you get infected if you got fucked by a vampire?
If the Wellerman, you know.
Oh my god.
No, there's actually one thing. I
You
do like.
died. You got fucked by a vampire. Oh my god, vampirism would be an STD. It's a sexually transmitted disease.
No, there's one thing I like in Torchwood when they have a character who like dies, but like comes back as like an undead person. They really look at all the consequences of him being like frozen in this weird state of not dead but dead. Like if he cuts himself, the cut won't heal. That kind of thing.
Oh, interesting.
Can't get up, as they put it. Just everything, like he's just in this weird like walking corpse state. It's yeah.
Poor dude.
Yeah, no, he tries to, yeah, that's the whole thing. But anyway,
So, the
he's like
weakness,
the horny boy of the show.
the weak, oh, the weaknesses of vampires. Let's get through because we haven't got through much of vampires yet. Vampire bodies are very flammable and burn quickly. They're also weak to holy items like holy water and blessed items such as crosses that burn the flesh of vampires. So it is like real if you like bless something and vampires hold it. Additionally, they do things like they can't say the word God. New vampires can't say the word like God or whatever they believed when they were like born. But you can,
my gosh.
but you can actually learn to be able to like say it. Like you can like
Oh.
pull yourself up and learn it. Like it's like finding your faith again while dead. It's weird. It's a weird thing, but it's like self-confidence in a way. Yeah, once you become like I don't know, I think it's like a cool thing. Whereas like, and also like maybe if it is a religion thing, then God doesn't like vampires, but once they become actual like proper things, they can use it. But also like dick vampires can say God, so maybe it's just like strength. I don't know.
What are the precedents in this universe for blessing things?
Like priests are real.
Like,
In a sense.
as in like a priest who is
Yeah. Like
Has to
holy
be
water. If you get a
ordained,
holy water from a church, it's all like
okay, right, cool. Because I'm trying to figure out again. I'm trying to automate this shit. I'm trying to figure out the easiest way.
you gotta get a priest
Again,
on standby.
you could just have a priest on fucking standby on
Yeah.
a like conveyor belt, just like bless you, as like the swords go past him.
But yeah, most events, blah blah blah. Non-religious vampires aren't affected by holy items and holy names. So if you're an atheist vampire, you don't care. But it's like a belief system, so it's kind of related to how you think. Sunlight. So yeah, that holy wouldn't work on an atheist vampire. Atheist vampire it's too strong. Sunlight burns and blesses the flesh. Any sunlight, full exposure to light, direct sunlight, can sets a vampire on fire and can reduce them to ashes. For this reason, they are nocturnal. Artificial light, even artificial light, if powerful enough, can make them uncomfortable, can give them discomfort. And then this, unless you're a daywalker, which you talked about earlier, which is vampires who have drank Nephilim blood. Angel blood, yeah. A stake through the heart instantly kills a vampire. They also... silver is toxic to them and cause extreme pain, headaches, and nausea, but it's not as bad as werewolves. Yeah, it doesn't it's not a death thing, but it like headaches, pain, nausea. It's like bad. You're like really sick. You don't like it.
Yeah.
Vampires can also die from blood loss or decapitation as well.
Classic.
Yeah.
Just like humans.
Yeah.
And then they disappear and turn to ash when they
No,
die.
they don't. I will kill you. In TV show, vampires turn to ash when they die. That's not true. Only when they burn to death. Culture. So
I think that's a pretty universal thing. Oh, please don't turn to ash when they die unless you burn them. You know, shit, what are you talking about?
yeah, law. Okay, so vampire law. There is no law against drinking humans' blood as long as they don't kill them as the saliva drains quickly, but consent is needed. So it is key that the clave set it out that if a human consents to being their blood drank, they will give it.
If they drink too much, is it manslaughter?
Probably.
Yes.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, because they didn't mean to do it.
Yes.
It's still
I feared for
it's
my
still
life.
a degree of
Please
murder.
downgrade it to manslaughter.
There's also what is it? What was I going to say? There's also a weird thing about them because they need consent needed, but also having Canto, which is weird because that does not go with consent at all in Canto because you're enchanting them. Anyway.
Wow, the system's flawed. Who would have thunk?
Yeah, I know, right? The risks of drinking are there though. They mostly keep to blood donors or animal blood. Politics. Most vampires form clans, much like werewolf packs, where they'll have one leader, and whoever kills the leader becomes the leader. They either kill or overthrow. They are more democratic. They don't usually kill. It's not. They don't usually fight to death. They usually most people like vote and be like, this person I want the leader now, and they overthrow them in coups usually. Additionally. They team up with each other to share experience, like werewolves. Vampires usually, no matter the clan, see each other as brethren. Like some werewolf clans will be like, oh, we're rival clans, but like a rival packs. But like all vampires see themselves as vampires.
We're rival clans. Ooh, I'm gonna get you.
There are clan wars happen though, but it is rare for clan wars to happen. Honor and etiquette is very important to vampires. They're ancient beings and they like tradition and that kind of thing. They take oaths and vows very seriously. Blood oaths can only be broken by another ritual in vampire culture. Vampires sometimes turn... vampires will sometimes try and turn a Shadowhunter as a joke. These Shadowhunters will be outcast in both the Shadowhunter and the werewolf community, though.
Did you say they'll turn them as a joke?
Yes.
Well, because then they get outcast from everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Not
Well,
great.
the Shadowhunters are like the people that go around killing vampires and stuff.
I mean,
so.
they are pretty fucking uppity.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like the police if the police were really corrupt, even more corrupt than they have in this world.
I was gonna say.
I'm going to say, okay. We're not getting into that, but
Police,
most police do a
went
good
around
job.
killing people
Most
that didn't
police
deserve it.
do a good job. Let's not get into it. But a few bad apples spoil the but whatever it is. They spoil the whole thing. Anyway,
I thought you said you were gonna move on.
and moving on. They are mortal enemies of vampires, as we talked about. And to get into that, we'll talk about the history of vampires. So we talked about werewolves were around since the 13th century, but vampires, the first vampires were created, we actually know very exact. In 1444 CE, there was a public ceremony. The greater demon Hecate was summoned in a blood ritual in modern-day Romania. In exchange for sacrifice, Vlad III and his court were to be made the first vampires.
Nice.
In this region, this region was soon flooded by vampires as people spread the vampire disease around. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Cluj. Became the first. Became the site of the first vampire clans, officially recognized by the Clave. Remember we talked about that was the Shadowhunter government. At this time, as vampirism grew, so did demonic behavior in the region. This led to an all-out war between vampires and Shadowhunters, with both sides not completely sure how new vampires were made, and how to reliably kill vampires at the time. So both sides didn't really know what the fuck they were doing. So the Shadowhunters would bury the bodies, of vampires who just got bit, and then more vampires would come. So not great.
Oh no! Why are these things happening? Why are they
Yeah.
related?
Yeah. Yeah, so
No
most...
scientific Shadowhunters, seriously.
Well, at the time, there was a war. And also,
They can apply the scientific method. Come on.
they're in the 14th century one. And
You telling me there were people applying the scientific
1400s.
method? They were just doing it super wrong.
they're in the 1400s, one. And two, a lot of science in Shadowhunter world is frowned upon. It's very traditional, and they basically say the angels gave us runes, and that we're gonna use that. Anything other than that is bad.
I'm beginning to dislike the Shadowhunters a lot more than
Yeah,
any of these other races.
yeah, they're not. The Shadowhunter government is fucking. That's like the main antagonist, pretty much, because everyone hates
Nice.
everyone hates the government. In universe, and will not say out of it. At this time, so most vampires were created by accident in that time. This continued until the 18th century, so it continued for 4 centuries, until it finally calmed down. The practices of leaving vampires out to burn the sun was banned in the 1902. So they did have a practice where they basically, if they caught a vampire, they'd trap him outside in the sun and they'd wait for the sun to rise and they'd burn alive. But it was banned. Although, sadly, with the release of Dracula in 1897, this led to many unlawful hunting and killing of law-abiding vampires, unfortunately.
Good-fashioned, law-abiding vampires.
Yeah. They didn't do anything wrong, but they got hunted down and killed because they saw Dracula. People saw
By
Dracula.
who? By who, Matthew?
Shadowhunters and
Yeah, I
humans.
fucking knew it was going to be those pieces of
Shadowhunters
shit.
and humans, okay?
And humans, yeah, because the human's going to go and fight a fucking superpowered beast, not the angel demon.
Yeah. Interesting facts. Vampires don't smell at all to humans, but humans smell slightly metallic to vampires. Vampires are also associated with beauty, and noted that people get like prettier and like more attractive through the change.
Nice.
So you get hotter when you become a vampire.
Yeah, basically.
But you can't fuck.
You can fuck. We agree with this. You can fuck. You just can't reproduce.
Okay.
They fuck.
All looking up, baby.
Yeah.
All the benefits and none of the downsides.
I was going to say, I see no downsides
Yeah.
thus far.
It is
I see
unknown.
this is an absolute win.
It is unknown, or if this is an actual change, a subjective change, or an effect of passive enchanter. Most
I was
animals.
gonna say, is like, how do you determine they get prettier?
Yeah, it's just people's opinions. That's always that in the like they will go, oh, I can notice he's looking like.
Do my
nicer."
cheeks like slim
Yeah.
slightly?
I don't know, it's
that
just
every
been
fucking-
mentioned.
Every fucking
It's
vampire's
a
cheekbones.
teen romance. They
You
describe how they
fucking turn
look.
Turn a 5-year-old into a goddamn vampire. Cheekbones.
That's not
Abs
doing to
and
that.
Turn a
Cheekbones.
guy who weighs 300 kilos.
Why
into
is
a
the first
vampire?
thing you?
Cheekbones from
Why is the
somewhere.
first thing you thought of as a 5-year-old?
Because they don't have cheekbones.
I guess.
What the fuck did you? No, it's because I'm not even gonna fucking entertain that thought, Matthew.
That's
Go
what I'm
fuck yourself.
thinking. That's what I was
Why
like.
are you thinking that? It's just because I was like, oh, what doesn't have cheekbones? A 5-year-old.
Yeah. Okay.
Mum,
Most
Dad, stop fighting.
most animals can sense vampires being undead and avoid them because of it. They don't like them. So your cat and dog probably won't like you if you become a vampire. It's a big downside.
Oh, that would suck.
yeah.
I'm not becoming a vampire.
They are also obviously immune to being a werewolf, and vampires have a thing they use. It's not really known as their powers, how they really have them, but vampires usually ride around on demon-powered motorcycles that can fly.
That's so fucking cool.
It's unknown
All
if
the upsides, none of the downsides.
it's unknown. So they're basically vampires are kind of like your
Super
dad.
fucking cool, incredible.
Your dad going through a midlife crisis. But also, yeah, they have but it's unknown if warlocks usually give them these or if they can make them themselves. Okay, cool. Well, I've talked about vampires and werewolves. We're talking there's a group called, and we're talking about how they got the struggles of them becoming them and how they can often lead to killing people they don't want to kill, especially close to them, and often lead to bad things happening like suicide rates and stuff like that. Well, there's a group called it's Latin, so excuse me, Praetor lupus, which basically
This is fucking werewolves, isn't it?
yeah, it stands for Wolf Guardians.
Right,
And they are
Oh, the
basically-
Praetor Lupus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. They're based
I remember
off the Praetorians, which was an elite Roman military force.
The Praetorian Guard, that would be.
Yeah, the Praetorians.
Don't you get Roman historical on me?
Okay, sorry. Okay, the Praetorian Guard, whatever. They basically are an alliance of werewolves that help new werewolves and vampires, and sometimes, very rarely, warlocks when they are going through their change. So if they like look in the news and they find and they associate a guardian to them. So they'll interview and explain basically what's going on. Often people don't know what is happening with their change and stuff like that. They like explain what's happening to them, and they will have a guardian who will look after them until they associate they can look after themselves. So that'll be usually a couple months, if not a year, to basically be like they'll get them a place they can stay, because usually their families will kick them out if they're this kind of shit, like become a vampire. They'll get them a place they can stay. They'll stay with them, basically stop them from doing anything dumb shit. And do all that kind of stuff. They'll be their guardian for them. And this is basically helps in the world to do the best they can for new one. It also stops new werewolves and vampires making more, in that sense, or making big mistakes, and then being hunted down by Shadowhunters.
Yeah, because they as soon as they put a toe out of line, they basically get.
Yeah, exactly.
stabbed.
Even if they don't know what they're doing, so these guys kind of try and help as much as they can around the place. Yeah, so that's them.
Is it time for my favorite boys?
It's time for the Warlocks,
Fuck yeah.
the big boys of the Downworlder community.
The Downworlders that make the rest of the Downworlders look shit, basically.
Yeah, basically. These are also known as Lilith's children. They are the immortal offspring of demons and humans. Offspring by breeding.
Really? What other kind of offspring is there?
Okay, I'm just making it clear. Okay.
Osmosis.
Fuck.
Asexual.
Man's got a point.
This is
Wait, did I say the right word? Fuck,
Maybe.
I'm gonna Google it.
Osmosis is a very different thing.
Osmosis is like absorption. Yeah, no.
they absorb both
mitosis
vampires
is
and
what I'm-
humans.
No, is that what I'm thinking of?
Meiosis. Meiosis and
It's got a
mitosis
T
are two
in it.
types of cell division.
Mitosis is where a single cell divides into two identical daughter cells. I was right.
Boom.
Yeah.
Mitosis.
Anyway, this is usually, unfortunately, in the form of rape, and usually through deceit of shapeshifting, forming into a loved one or desired one, and then the demon will have sex with the human, and then a baby will result. Unfortunately, Warlocks reach an age and basically stop aging. Usually, it's full maturity, like around your 20s. But it can depend on the Warlock. Sorry, there's no Warlocks that are really kids though. They do mature to their fully growth, and then they stop. This sounds great, but very old Warlocks have been known to they basically fade or petrify when they grow too bored or unsurprised by life to stop moving forward. Basically, the fade or petrify is basically, in Warlock terms, known to basically they lose their mind. They stop feeling and really living at all in the moment, and they just become death to the world inside, not outside. This is only really known to happen to Warlocks. It's unknown if this happens to vampires as well, who also do it, but it is known a few times that Warlocks have just lived so long they just stop being surprised by life in this sense.
Well, they have a kind of OP power set compared to the others.
Exactly. Where vampires can die a lot easier than Warlocks can. Every Warlock has a mark, so that is something unique to them or demon-like that they have. Usually there's a connection to their demon bloodline. So, for example, they can have blue skin or demon eyes or a cat tail or whatever.
Furries.
They can have tails, yeah.
They can have horns as well.
Sorry?
They can have horns.
Horns, stuff like that, yeah. Different things they can have, yeah. So that Warlocks often are also infertile, like vampires. They can't have children. There is only one known exception to this rule. They can fuck. One known exception to this rule is the offspring of demons and Shadowhunters, particularly Shadowhunters without marks on them, but unmarked Shadowhunters. This is the results in a Shadowhunter, because Shadowhunters breed true. So it's a Shadowhunter with demon or warlock abilities. There is only one known to have existed in the world ever.
Did you say the Shadowhunter gene is dominant?
Yeah, well, that's what they say it. So yeah, the Shadowhunter breed gene is dominant. So, in that sense, she is the one. She is a Shadowhunter, but she's also immortal. So she has she has abilities of Warlocks and stuff like that. But she's a Shadowhunter as well.
Who is, sorry?
Tessa. So this is Tessa. So this is one of the characters in the. It's kind of a spoiler for this, but it's one of the characters in the prequels.
Oh, I see.
We
Yeah.
put a spoiler warning at the top of each episode for a reason.
That is
if you
a
get angry
true-
about that, you can go fuck yourself.
That is true.
No, I love you.
Yeah, so yeah, Tess is
Leave
pretty
us an
important.
angry review and we'll look at it. Thanks.
Please don't leave us an angry review. As long as you're
Leave
5
us
stars.
angry reviews. Any reviews.
Reviews as long as they're 5 stars. angry. 5 would rate highly.
Take away a star every time Matt makes you angry.
I love that. That on Steam review. I hate this game. This game sucks. Would recommend like on Steam.
Yeah.
Due to their demon blood inside them, warlocks are able to cast magic. So they often have the most prowess of anyone in the shadow world, and then cast magic for people usually at a high price. This can be simple magic, such as making it so your business does well or a firm does well. Like they have businessmen come to warlocks and be like, make this movie a success, and be like, okay, I can do that, stuff like that. But it's going to cost you a lot of money and stuff like that.
I'm just thinking there's a song that a guy called Louis Zong wrote, which is called Very Good Wizard, and it's literally just a wizard being like, I'm a really good wizard, pay me money.
Love that. Some examples of other magic they can do is memory changing, battle spells such as fireballs, binding magic to object, healing, teleportation, mind control, projection, necromancy, summoning rituals, stuff like that, you know? Your usual magic shit. Some warlocks can be born without magic. These are known as Ifrits. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. They're not mentioned much, but they do exist. They're kind of like squibs in Harry Potter. They also rarely work with Nephilim as specialists or work for their magic. They can do like magic things for the Nephilim, stuff like that, like teleporting them around or stuff like that. The most gifted warlocks can become scholars and work in the thing called the Spiral Labyrinth. This is the central home of warlocks and all magical and research knowledge for the warlocks. Here they invent new magic and record what has been found so far. So this is where they keep like really big tomes and stuff like that. Any secrets they need to keep. Yeah, you basically need to be a really good warlock to keep it. And it's also like the labyrinth, like you don't know where it is. Like it's always changing where it is. So it's unknown only to the highest warlocks to be able to get there and stuff like that. Yeah. I can't imagine it's like there was a thing in... There's a prison in like Scudaugry Pleasant, which I might talk about sometime. There's a prison that is always like, it's a flying prison that always changes where it is. It's always flying around, and you don't really know where it is. It has like magic protection on it that means it can't be seen or detected and stuff like that. So you have to know where it is to get there. Anyway, and culture. Many warlocks are very independent and keep up to themselves. Most warlocks know other warlocks because like warlocks are much rarer than vampires and demons and stuff like that, and they're much more powerful. They can teleport around the world, stuff like that. So they get to know each other, and they usually know all the warlocks in their area. But they are rare. They govern themselves using the Spiral Council, which is the head of the Spiral Labyrinth, and they appoint high warlocks to major cities and areas around the place, which the Clave will go to if they need someone in that area. The Clave. The government.
I thought you said the player. I'm like,
the player.
Yeah,
The player.
I heard that
video
before.
game.
The player 1 will go to the... but not player 2, as you have no control. Cool. Some fun facts about warlocks. Drinking warlock blood does strange things to vampires, apparently. But we don't know what it is. They never exactly go into what the strange things are. Warlocks are supposedly the oldest of all races, but humans on Earth. So apparently like demons got to Earth and like infected, made warlocks before any other races were around.
Sure.
What is it? A warlock is given credit for summoning the angel Raziel to create Nephilim. So like the warlock helped them create Nephilim on Earth. They are immune to various human diseases and fairy fruit. Fairy fruit, which send most people insane. Vampires, warlocks smell like... It's two vampires, warlocks smell like burnt matches. More common for warlocks to be the father to be a demon, not the mother. Warlocks' hair grows... stops growing when they start aging. So if they lose their hair in an accident, they have to use magic to get it back, unfortunately. 8 warlocks in the early 2000s have claimed to be born before Nephilim, so that puts them over 1,000 years old as well.
Ah, lovely.
So yeah, that is the fun facts about warlocks. They're basically really powerful dudes that can do magic and shit like that. Usually like ancient wise beings in that sense, like wizards and kind of thing.
Beautiful, ancient, wise beings.
But they can party they're like that, but also they party hard.
Oh, they really
Okay.
do.
Can I tell you the worst thing?
What?
I was imagining them when you first described them as ancient wise beings, as like, you know, old man sort of wizened voice. But as soon as you said that they party hard, for some reason my brain was like, oh yes, Squilliam voice.
We're going to go and chat some items and then party.
Yeah, well, they kind of like they're wise, but they're also like they get the most out of life. They've kind of like they've gone all the way around. They're like realize they're like, fuck, I'm just gonna enjoy myself. Fuck life.
It's a teen
Real
based
wisdom.
novel, so they all stop aging when they're at the hottest age of like 24 or so.
Of course.
Everything if you put everything in the mind of like it's a teen romance, you're like, so werewolves are cool, but they're edgy. They're kind of like stuff like that. They're like tortured
Everything
past.
can fuck.
They're tortured past. Vampires, they're hot, but it's nice to be bitten by them. Oh yeah.
And they
You
get
know?
prettier when they change.
Oh yeah, they get hot, baby.
Damn it,
Warlocks.
Cassandra.
Warlocks, they stop aging at their prime, and they're ancient. They can do magic, anything, but they also love to party. You know what I mean? It's always like talking about like edginess. Let's talk about the last of the the key groups of Downworlders, which is the fairies.
Oh god.
So the fairies, also known as the Fae folk or the Fae. Their origins are unknown, but it's legend that the fairies are associated with the beauty of angels and the malice of demons. So some people believe they are the offspring of demons and angels having sex. Well, let's say offspring, yes. Another legend is that they are fallen angels cast down, very like minor angels cast down to become fairies instead of demons, cast down for their pride, but they seem too weak and mortal to have to be this in this sense. Most likely they are from the early days of angels and demons existing together on Earth and became the offspring of that. Most Fae are now the offspring of other Fae in that sense, so we don't really know the origins of them in that sense. These people are the least understood by like us as readers, also in the humans and Shadowhunters, stuff like that, and the most mysterious of all Downworlders. Known for their unearthly beauty, delicate features, and regal features, they're basically like elves, in a sense. They're like elves, but if elves were real fucking dicks, like even more than they already are.
Well, it depends which elves, but yeah.
Yeah. Most resemble humans with some extraordinary features like wings or horns, kind of like warlock marks. But some like don't look like them at all. Like some are like there's like other fae. There are many different kinds of fae, like nixies, pixies, brownies, satyrs, mermaids, hobgoblins, boggarts. They're all fae in that sense.
I like hobgoblins.
Mr. Tom,
Good name.
Mr.
Great.
Thomas.
A common factor of elves, like the common fae you'll see, are the just pointed ears. So like elves we talked about. Most are associated with flora or vegetation and stuff like that. So, in a way, and we'll get into it more later, but time flows differently for fae. So they have their own world in their own place they go to, and time flows differently there. And I'll get into later how this kind of works, because we don't really know, but I have theories. But they do differently. They are long-lived creatures that become more powerful and more beautiful as they age. They don't get lesser; they get better. They are close to it, but not immortal. They kind of like warp time to their own likeliness. They use time as a tool, not as a crux like we have it in a sense, because we die from it.
Yeah.
But they also do have the ability to choose when they die. Often as when everyone to love, they can basically like give up the will to live in that sense. Kind of like Padme in Star Wars.
She seems to have
Lost the will to live.
Cool reference, guys. That was a real good one.
Yep.
Get out of here, guy. Watch a movie.
No.
Watch a movie once in a while.
Guy, just go.
That's not
I've been rewatching Pirates of the Caribbean.
good.
Nice.
Stop
Again.
rewatching movies and start watching good. Like, okay, that is a
No.
good movie. Go watch fucking Jumanji 2.
Jumanji 2. Wait, the modern one?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
actually not bad.
I've been meaning to. Yeah.
Those two movies are actually I quite like them.
I was trying to think about like a movie that guy would have seen.
I've watched Emoji 1.
They're like
The
the
new
new
one?
one.
Recently.
That's sad that you haven't watched. Okay,
Listen, I only just got a Disney Plus account.
I have watched it too though.
Is it on Disney Plus? Oh god, now I've got to Google this. Shut up.
Star Wars
About
is- Star
things,
Wars
I'll
is.
Google this in the background.
Star Wars is. Fae are basically known for their cunning and cruel sense of humor, and that they like to trick mortals into doing things they don't want to do. They frequently make bargains with humans that will often cost them dearly. Like vampires, they are committed to honor and etiquette because they're like ancient traditional beings in that sense, and will follow things to the letter any promise ever made. Key thing is to the letter. However, they will do this. They use clever wordplay and advantages to get loopholes in the deal. This is because Fae folk are unable to lie.
I was gonna say because Fae fucking suck.
Fae are unable to lie. However, they can say stuff they believe to be true in that sense. So they can lie in a sense. They can also...
Okay, you have one Fae as your leader and negotiator who's just dumb as shit. Then
Yeah.
Yeah.
every time he learns something you don't want him to, just
They're also experts at weaving sentences to not speak the whole truth or let others let their assumptions to mean something and not correcting their misinterpretation.
Jeez, who do that? Gosh.
Yeah, I know, right? Like if someone said, you'll do it. I've said what I've said, stuff like that, you know what I mean? Like when people like agree.
so you're going to tell us that this juice can make us live forever? It could.
Yeah, well, that is what you've said. You know, stuff like that. You know, but a key thing is half Fae creatures can lie, which is what they use that in one of the books. They're as you said, guy, they're negotiator. They basically say they're negotiator of the clave. They're like, no, they said, I'll say this as clearly as possible. We are not going to betray you, basically. And then but they said the one guy who can lie, so they're like, oh fuck.
It's like I'm going back to D&D again. So this is a D&D heavy episode, but Zone of Truth, when everyone but one person fails Zone of Truth. It's just
Yeah.
I pledge my hand and swear to not kill you. They said that.
Well, if I
That's the
can't
thing
lie,
they
he
said.
must not be able to lie.
Well, he said, that's the thing he said.
He said it. I can't say it, but he said it. My word wouldn't mean as much anyway. He said it.
He said it. Trust
Abilities.
me, he said it.
Abilities. So the Fae folk have enhanced swiftness, grace, and heightened senses. The Fae magic is unique to their own world, so it is known to be very old and very powerful. It seems to be neither demonic or angelic origins, which is interesting, right? So a magic that's different to both angel and demon. So we'll come back to later, like what I think this is. But it seems to be they seem to be the oldest of all Downworlders, as their true age is unknown. It is believed that it is interesting because it is believed that the Warlocks were the first ones on Earth, but Fae folk have been in their own world for much longer than this, as time is different, right?
I see.
So time, there could be centuries there, it could be a day in normal world, but also a day there could be centuries in our world. It just time doesn't travel the same way.
Feywild, man. Feywild.
Exactly, it's literally the Feywilds in that sense. In that sense, blah, blah, blah. Politics. So generally removed from the world's affairs, and they keep to themselves, but their own politics is very complex. So they have courts. So the Fae have two courts, the Seelie and Unseelie, with sovereigns basically over different territories of the human world and their own world, which is called Fairy, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that.
Nice.
There are also many of the Fae folk who do not associate with either monarch or either court. The Unseelie queen is a lot more willing to bargain and seems to be use a lot less extreme methods, but is still evil and very manipulative. She is the one. She's like the nicer one, and she betrays them easily. Like she betrays them and basically like ruins them. The Unseelie king is straight up fucking evil, which is actually it's interesting because he will just be like, I don't like you, whereas she'll be like, I could like you if you do this thing, and then fucking stab you in the back, which is interesting. Which is better? We don't know, but the Unseelie king does kill a lot of people, so I don't know. He doesn't hide it, and usually does a lot darker and stronger magic. He has a thing. He has a group called the Riders of Mulan. Manon, sorry. The rise of Manon, who have served him for 1,000 years and claim to be born at the beginning of time. So they have claimed this. So it's unclear if they claim to the beginning of time itself, and then they just decided to be born to him over the last 1,000 years, or they were born at the beginning of time in Fairy, which would be different to the beginning of time in our world, and they were like they have been called him for all the time, or maybe half the time. It's weird. It's interesting, but they do say they've been around since the start of time itself, which is interesting. Magic is similar to God's magic, maybe? I don't know.
Is Feywild time just loosey-goosey, not necessarily faster or slower?
It is very loosey-goosey.
Right,
we don't get a
I like that sort of one, because it's like, oh, I stepped in, and now it's 10,000 years later. What the fuck?
It's very weird in that sense.
Yeah.
They have blah, 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 blah. They have an ancient magic that has nearly unseen in the world except for in the Wild Hunt, which we will not get to today because the Wild Hunt are a big story. But they're basically just people who run around and they collect the bodies of the dead, for that sense, and stuff like that. The spirits of the dead in some way. Angel magic is weird. Fairy magic is basically just really weird.
That's what we want.
Additionally, angel weapons do not work on these riders, which they do work on normal fairy. Additionally, they can travel between worlds as they please, dimensions and stuff like that. So it is unknown if these guys are more powerful than some angels and some demons in some sense.
They definitely are, but continue.
Yeah. They also die. They all die in the book. Spoilers, but they all die.
Okay.
So,
Shitty head.
they're
Maybe
bad.
that's what the angels and demons want.
They're all like really bad. Like
Angels and demons wish they could die.
they get killed by like a 17-year-old girl, and like not that I think the girl is the power.
I'm not gonna say that I know what that is, but there's context missing from that statement.
Yeah, also a guy. Okay, let's be. I don't mean this. The girl is not the important part. The point that she was like a 17-year-old Shadowhunter killed ancient beings since the dawn of time, right?
Shadowhunter bad. I'm willing to make this statement at this point. Shadowhunter's bad.
They were okay. To be fair, they were like, they were trying to hunt them down and kill them, and she killed.
Trying to
them.
hunt the fairies were.
Yeah, the fairies were, and they were
genocide.
They were
then.
killed in self-defense.
Genocide in self-defense. Okay.
Yes, genocide in self-defense.
Go
Who
fuck
does that?
yourself.
What?
This is in like this is in later books. The new books, man.
Yeah, who
New
does it
book.
though?
Emma.
Ah.
Yes. Anyway, family is very important to fairies, and a mistake in one person will affect on the entire bloodline of people. In that sense, so it's been really bad and really good in that sense. So
I'm glad I'm not related to you, Matt.
Yeah, I know, right? It'd be terrible. Fairies can reproduce, but it's uncommon for them to do it because it is uncommon and it is known to them to be really hard to get pregnant in that sense.
So elves, yeah.
Yeah. Half Fae and half humans are more likely in that sense like that, and they retain some Fae aspects and their magic. Additionally, Fae and Shadowhunter children are Shadowhunters, as we know the genetic is dominant, but they also have some Fae features, like the pointed ears and stuff like that. Fae have been known to trick humans into their world and torture or mate with them to strengthen their bloodline.
Cool.
Yeah. They can use fairy magic to make them go insane or forget who they are or where they're from, stuff like that. Even their own name and so not great. Changelings are also known to strengthen bloodlines. Basically, fairies would swap weak Fae children out with strong human ones, performing Fae magic on them when they become to the world to change them into Fae. Basically, very bad kidnapping.
Yeah. That's an old what's the word, like Celtic folklore druid thing where they believed changelings would kidnap a child from the woods and then leave her. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's
Just
why
a fun
this takes it from like pagan and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
That's why it takes it from the real world and stuff like that. Yeah. So weaknesses of fairies, iron, and particularly natural iron, is toxic to fairies. Fairies and fairies. They are also vulnerable to rowan wood, salt, and grave soil. So they won't come anywhere near your automated system, guy. Don't worry.
I was gonna say, it's like, oh, I have a stronghold against these awful creatures, all manner of supernatural beings. And where have you set up your lair, my lord? Some castle or maybe some high place in the mountains? I found a mine shaft that is rich with natural ores.
I found in the middle of a an assault an ore mine in the middle of a graveyard.
What if I made a castle out of a mixture, like an alloy between silver and iron, and coated the walls and floors in it?
I was going to say, if
it's
you build it
weaker.
out of solid silver and iron, you're the richest motherfucker
Yeah,
on this planet.
well, that's
you should be
true.
doing better things with that money.
Also,
No, you just, like,
both
coat
would
the floor
both
in
would
it,
have
you know?
lessened effects because it says particularly alloys don't have like effects. Like it has to be
Yeah,
pure
but if
silver.
the whole thing's covered in it,
Fine then, I have cobblestones where it's just silver, iron, silver, iron,
That's
silver,
better.
iron.
That's
that
better.
works well.
That works well. Boom, you done it. Cool. So next week, now we're going to talk about the Fey realm. We talked about it a little bit, but it's basically called the Fairyland, the Fey realm, also known as Fairy or the land under the hill. The territories of the fairies are unwelcome guests unless and guests are unwelcome unless invited. Described as the realm, you can travel into a country. It cannot be surveyed and basically, sorry, that sentence is really bad. It cannot be surveyed or has a consistent landscape. So the rivers, the land itself changes, so it can't be
Okay,
mapped.
right.
So like the
So
hill.
it was going to be the type of thing where like you try and draw it on a map and the pen just fucking skates off the edge.
No,
of
it's
the
like the hills will move, the rivers will move, and stuff like that. It's really It's changing. It's wild.
Unpredictable.
It's wild magic in that sense. It's unpredictable. It's
Nice,
a
nice.
lucid kind of thing.
I mean, it fucking loosens up your morning routine.
Yeah,
Damn,
exactly.
Where the toilet at?
you go outside to go to work on this giant mountain away.
Fuck this shit.
Hey boss, I won't be coming into work today.
Hey, it happened.
It's
again. You like come outside to see your car and there's just a tree through the middle. Honey, it happened again.
oh no. Can you work from home? I guess I can now. The home is just like it's built
Yeah.
in. It's
I was gonna say like, yeah, I'll head onto my computer. I'll see you for the meet. Turns around like,
oh no,
there's a
the
forest.
meeting.
Oh, I might be a bit.
No, the meeting has come to me. Like the meeting room has just come into your house.
You just see a river and flowing along it. There's just a bunch of guys in business suits and
You know, in the line in the Avengers, I'm bringing the party to you. It's like a party's literally moving towards you. No,
incredible.
at high speeds.
you see a fucking tree running past you and it's got
No.
the office building attached to it.
Yeah.
I like this chaos forest.
There's a lot like more about like fairy culture they talk about. We won't get into because there's a lot you can get into. But they're a lot more wild and like they don't. There's very two sides of it. They're like very serious etiquette when they're in court, but when they're outside of court, they're very wild and magical. Like they'll have forests where they'll dance in the forest naked and do like dance with each other, and they'll like well they don't see clothes as necessary in that sense. Like they don't see them.
Damn right.
They don't see nudity in a bad way, and they're very open society outside of that.
Nudity isn't bad. Nudity's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if you walk down the street naked, I think you'll get arrested. But they're not in that sense. Like there's two different sides of fairy. There's a
society
serious
is
side.
flawed.
There's the serious side of fairy, and there's like the wild side of fairy in that sense. So
Imagine how funny it would be if it was the opposite way. Like in our day, where just because of the way we're like the way that we as society decided clothes and stuff, if it was the other way round and it was like weird to wear clothes, that'd be funny, wouldn't it?
yeah, well, in original society, you know when they brought like knives and forks back to Europe from
Oh my god, that's the funniest shit.
from like the Middle East.
Middle East.
They were like, how dare you? God has given you two tools right here.
yeah,
Your left and your right hand.
That was the best.
Use
bit, 'cause
them.
It was because I brought that up when we were talking at a conversation a while ago, and it's like they talked about the fact that it was someone online being like, oh, we're so much more cultured than like Middle Eastern people. It's like, bro, Middle Eastern people brought knives and forks to a English like banquet, and they were like, the priest was like, God hath given you forks, and they are called hands.
Yeah,
It's
well,
like,
I don't
come
know if it was
on,
so
man.
much Middle Eastern people bringing it to England as much as it was Europeans,
Oh,
specifically
stealing 'em.
Vikings, stealing and bringing it
Yes,
back.
yes.
But yeah,
There was an example of it.
It was
from
in the
Middle
Crusades. They
Eastern
just stole them in the Crusades a lot as well.
Classic.
yeah.
Yeah. Also, like numbers, all the numbers we today. That's from the Middle East. So
Our entire system of math.
yeah, baby. Anyway, back to fairies. So as I said, time and space also flow differently in the land, faster, slower, like moving around, stuff like that. So it's a different kind of world, and reality is kind of different in that world. So definitely, seasons can go in the blink of an eye, and also caverns and mountains can move. Rivers have no rhyme and reason. They don't always flow downhill. They can flow uphill. They can flow over. They can flow
Hell
anywhere.
fucking yeah.
Additionally, it is also known that all blood spilt in the human world flows in rivers in fairy. Just a really weird thing they just mentioned.
They must hate vampires.
Yeah,
Another
I know, right?
fucking flirt. God damn it. Oh my god. I just had a terrible idea. I'm sorry. I just had a terrible idea.
What?
During like the world wars. Oh fuck, flood season's coming again, guys.
Oh no! Holy fuck! God, did you hear that? Yeah, not great. One weird thing I've talked about fairy, like the fairy world, is that like they often mention it as a different dimension, but I often see fairy as its own universe itself, and it somehow can be opened up, connected. Like, have you ever, Narnia? Narnia has that world between worlds. That's what I see fairy as. Fairy is kind of like a world where you can access other dimensions through it. It runs through time. There's portals in fairy that open up to a lot of different universes. It's the only place you can like walk from one place to another. If you can get into fairy, you can go to another universe. Unless you have like a very powerful warlock or very powerful like angel or something like that. So I personally believe that fairy is like a world between worlds. Like as we described last time, we have hell and heaven above all the multiverse, right? Mm-hmm. Fairy is the world that connects all worlds, I believe, personally. Additionally, basically there are times where like you can literally walk into a demon world from fairy, but it's the only way they get into it. Like, how does that connect it if it's not, That's how I personally believe, but and if each multiverse had their own fairy, then they also connect with each other, and that would be just weird,
Yeah.
I don't know. They never really got into it, but I think it's interesting because the multiverse fairy is confirmed in the universe. But yeah. Anyway, so some interesting facts about the Fae. The Fae can usually send messages in natural objects such as leaves and acorns. So if you get an acorn on your desk, you open it up. It's like a little message. The Fae take in and release musicians to spread the secrets of their ballads. So they'll like take them in, tell them all like their shit, or like kind of like mind control, and then release them back into the world and say, tell all my stories. And
Can
shit.
confirm that is what my uni consisted of.
Your uni is just a front for Faye come and take him and then release him out to the world.
Honestly, it sounds about right.
Fays in general don't really have sexuality, so they're usually all bisexual in that sense. They don't like conform to one or the other. Believed in that most humans who have the sight actually have ancestors who are Fae. So one or two ancestors that were Fae that were put into the human world. Fairies smell to vampires like dead flowers. And fairy blood can be used to summon greater demons as well. Additionally, sorry?
Nice.
Yeah, one last like kind of species we'll talk about. Ghosts exist in... So that's fairies, by the way. Sorry, I just want to close them off. You know anything else? But ghosts exist in the Shadowhunter world. So they exist in the world of Shadowhunters as a remnant of someone who has passed and tied to the living world. The series being written right now actually goes more into ghosts and how they work and stuff like that, but I haven't read the latest book yet. But and the wikis probably haven't been updated. But the most information we have is that they are rarely used, but they sometimes basically tie. Usually if they did something wrong and they like regret it, they'll be tied to the world until they fix that. In that sense. They can be also tied by magic though as well. Fun things to end off with. So that's basically, but we'll just read the fun things. There are instances where they go to another world where history has gone another way. As I think we talked about a little in the last episode.
Fucking multiverse?
Yes, so there is a multiverse. So, for example, there is world Edom, which is a world where Shadowhunters existed, but they didn't have Adamus and to fight demons, and they couldn't fight them off. They were later made a weapon called the Skeptron, but it was too late as there were too many demons for even the Skeptron to kill. They lacked both the Silent Brothers and the Iron Sisters to fight off the demons. So basically they lost because they didn't have the people researching and stuff like that.
I see.
As you said, like when you talk about the researchers, they are the Silent Brothers and the Iron Sisters. So the Iron Sisters research new weapons and the Silent Brothers research new magic and runes to use.
Damn, that's sad as hell, because I would want to be one of those people, but I'm sure as shit not a silent brother.
Yeah.
The not so silent brother.
Not so silent guy.
Loud boy.
Not so silent aunt. Just uncle.
The Silent Brothers, the Iron Sisters, and the Loud Boy.
The loud boy.
The big iron.
Harry Potter and the loud boy. Additionally, it is believed that Jonathan wasn't wasn't quite as good or as good of a leader to unite the people. Basically, so like in the world, our world, Shadowhunters, the main one. Basically, the angel gave him all the shit he gave him because he's looked into his heart and said, "You're a good guy. I believe in you," and gave them all the shit. Whereas the angel looked at this guy and went, "You're okay," and they couldn't. He was too prideful to us Downworlders to help them fight the demons. So without the Downworlders to help them, they lost in that sense.
I see.
He was more prejudiced than the angels were in that sense. Additionally, it's almost to me, it's kind of thing like, does Raziel do this like every world? And like test like what works and what doesn't. Is there another universe where he gave them like everything the angels have? Like here's all our power, and the demons were like just defeated in like an afternoon.
Yeah, I mean probably.
I mean, knowing angels and their fucking priorities.
Yeah, you know. So the world.
Also, are you sure that this isn't just like the Fae playing trixies, doing a little stage play?
No, this is a real world.
What if?
What
Little
if?
pocket dimension.
It's Marvel. What if?
Oh fuck.
Now the next one is really
I
Marvel.
was
What
thinking of the machine from Futurama.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Are you even watching?
If?
I watched the whole fucking 10 seasons.
Excellent.
Okay. But so basically, the world fell, and there's now the world of Lilith and Asmodeus. They share it. Demons have burned away the sun and left it a burnt out world of ashes where the seas are drained and every living creature other than demons are dead. So that's where the demons. If a demon
Demons win at a lot of these, huh?
yeah, that's the thing. If demons really get power of a world, if they truly get their full person, like soul into it, they can literally do stuff like that. They can burn the sun and drain the oceans and shit like that.
You're not special.
So they can warp reality and shit like that.
Just gotta find the plug hole.
Fair enough.
I found it once actually.
Funny you're talking about what if.
That's why I got deported from England.
Fuck's sake. Funny you're talking about what if. So there's a world called Thule, which is basically Thule is where the events of the books went differently, and in one of the key battles in the books, Jude, you know the battle where Clary stabs Jace with the Heavenly Fireblade, and like saves him.
Yes.
You know that one? Yeah.
Yes.
Instead, in that world, Clary died in that battle.
Oh, nice.
So if Clary died in that battle, it's 5 years on from that, obviously, because they come back to it in one of the later books. But nearly all Shadowworlders are dead. In this world, people, the Normals are basically completely foreign to the world. All magic except demonic is gone from this world. All angelic magic is useless. Warlocks no longer exist, and fairies have walled off their world from the main world.
Okay, I know that these guys are like fucking Mary Sue Shadowhunters.
Yeah.
Who are also genocidal pieces of shit.
Yeah.
But also, like, at the point that I go to a bunch of different parallel universes, it's like, hey, in this something went wrong, and now everyone's dead. In this something went wrong, and now everyone's dead.
Yep.
In this you did something wrong. I'd have a fucking panic attack. I would just break down and be like, I'm done. Fuck you guys. I'm not trying anymore.
They
I don't
usually
want this
don't
to be my
connect.
fault.
It is very rare for them to connect, but there's like one of the Unseelie King like opens up to put it like he tries to protect. No, it's the Queen. She basically protects her son. She's like, I need a place to protect the son, who's the son of also kind of Hitler guy, but it's the Hitler of this kind of world. He's kind of Hitler's son.
Sure.
It's bad. Basically, the really bad guy, he puts him in this world because the really bad guy won in this world, so he like puts their son there to protect him.
Interesting.
But basically, bad things happen. Mundanes, former Shadowhunters, vampires, werewolves are either sworn to their new leader or in rebellion. The sky is affected by the blight, so the sun and the moon only work dim and have a reddish light. So it's kind of like the sun is burning out in that sense. The fog is thick with little visibility. It muffles voices. So and it also burns people's eyes and throats. Additionally,
I like
rain.
thick fog.
Rain is like
that's
acid
not
rain.
relevant to that. I don't want that fog, but I just like fog. Fog's cool.
Yeah, fair enough. So in this world, basically, and this is the work like we as we talked about last episode, guns don't work for Shadowhunters, but this is world they basically Shadowhunters because none of their angel magic works anymore. They just get guns and start fucking fighting back with guns. It's great.
Correct answer.
Why is it? It's that meme of, hey guys, I found a way to kill Lord Voldemort. Pulls out handgun.
Yeah, I got him, boys. Just an AK-47.
Avacabsplat.
It's just a sniper rifle.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why are wizard snipers never addressed in Harry Potter? Come on.
It's because it was
Imagine
just
if Harry
before.
in his invisibility cloak with a sniper from 20 miles away. What are you gonna do?
20 miles. I don't think
What are
Harry
you
can
gonna
shoot
do?
that shot. I don't think Harry can shoot
Hang
that
on.
shot.
He's got
Hang on.
magic.
That's
He
fair.
can
He's a
enhance
shit
the
wizard. Okay, one
projectile.
thing we can
He
agree
can
on in Harry
enhance
Potter.
his vision.
Harry's
What
a
are you gonna
shit
do?
wizard. Harry's a shit wizard. I think
Yeah, but
Hermione
you
can
can
make
get
the shot.
Hermione to buff her.
Hermione
to
can
buff
make the
him.
shot.
I'm just
Hermione
saying.
can make the shot. Oh, never
Having-
mind.
having-
Why is Hermione buffing Harry? She can just do it to herself.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Harry's having recently read some of the books, Harry's really not that shit of a wizard in the books. He's just terrible in the movie.
Only because I think he's an average dude though. He's not like really good. He's an average fucking wizard. He's shit at his
He's
school.
it's emphasized how good he is at jinxes and counter jinxes
Yeah,
and stuff.
just defense against
So-
dark arts. He's shit at everything else. And that's only because he
Yeah.
practices a lot. Because he had to do it for
No,
the
I
Wizards tournament.
I heard that he's very good at potions. I don't know how, but he's trying all these new techniques.
Gave me a beezor. Anyway, we're gonna finish this episode up.
Who said that, Matthew? Were you not aware? This episode never ends.
I'm gonna keep going.
Please, I'm hungry.
Both-
I'm so hungry, sir.
Both of these two worlds we talk about are connected to Fae, which is why we talked about earlier why it's unclear if Fae is its own universe or connect to the other ones. Like, I don't know. But anyway, so the multiverse is there, and that's what we're in. So but there's also like the void between worlds. Anyway, that is the Shadowhunters world. There is the demons and angels, an awesome fight to the death between them. There's also the Shadowhunters, which are here to save the world from the demons and be dicks while they're doing it, really assholes about it. There's Downworlders who are there just trying to exist and get by their days, while Shadowhunters are just being cunts to them. And the Fairy, which are like kind of like mixing pagan stuff into that and mixing some like mystery and mysteriousness.
Angels were fucking dickheads.
Angels are dickheads, demons are cunts. You know, it's kind of how it works.
Yeah.
We'll end it off with a few last facts. Some fun animal facts about the world of Shadowhunters.
Okay.
There is an immortal cat which was performed a demonic ritual on, called Church, who seems to have high intelligence. So basically, it's a immortal cat with the intelligence of a human. Just cute.
It can't talk, surely.
It can't talk. It just comes back.
Good.
Every book it comes back. Like in the prequels and the new ones, and every book it comes back.
Sure.
Incredible.
And also, one of them Warlocks has a cat called the Great Catsby, which is great.
That's pretty good.
I like that.
It's
like
fine.
It's a good name. It's a good name for a cat. It's hard to please you, guy. It's hard to please you.
It's fine. Like,
I
don't know.
I think it's very easy to please Guy, but it's so easy that sometimes you do a thing that's too much. Like,
That's like the minimum. I just found a cool cat name in the universe. I was like looking at animals in the universe and I found the Great Catsby.
yeah, but like I feel like if you give Guy a really massive, impressive lore and something that would make anyone else go, "Wow, that's so impressive," Guy will go, "Tell him about some like fucking talking dog who saves the universe," and he'll be all there.
I was
for
gonna
that.
say, like, it's a cat. And also, the Great Catsby's not a great pun.
I think it is.
A great pun for me has to be a double meaning, double entendre, have some juice to it. Because otherwise, you're just saying a word that sounds like a word.
Okay,
and
go.
For that you can get shot.
Go. Cat name. Come on, old great fairy. You've got this. It isn't canon in this podcast that Guy is a fairy.
yeah.
This is great audio. I am sorry for people listening to this.
No, I have no idea. I don't have
Exactly.
a better name, but I can tell you that that's not what I'm looking for.
Exactly. Well, maybe your standards are too high. Anyway, are there any last
You
questions?
can't just be like, hey, you haven't eaten any of these meals yet. Which one do you like the best from the name? Like,
Agreed.
I gotta taste them. Well, I tasted that one. I tasted.
Their names. You don't. That is the
Tasted
taste.
sour. I need to
Okay.
sample that thing.
Okay. So that is the Shadowhunters. Are there anything more
Excellent.
you want to talk about them, or you wanted to ask about them?
I'm gonna search up cat pun names.
For fuck's sake, dude.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Is there anything you've learned from the books that you've learned from the
The show's
from the
real
TV
bad.
show? The show is terrible. If you've taken anything away today, the books are pretty good. There's a lot of romance in there. It's an interesting world, but
Matt's
the
really
show
into
is
that teen romance
fucking
stuff, though,
terrible.
so it's fine.
I think everyone loves a bit of teen romance. I think teen romance is a fun thing to come back to. I think I will stand by that. Yes, I am into it. Fight me. Anyway,
Pardon me.
you know what you should do though, even if you're not into teen romance. If you've got to this point in the episode and you're still here while Guy looks up cat puns, you should instead of looking up cat puns, you should go to podcast. You should go to our Apple and leave a review on our iTunes page.
That kind of pun, like Percy, for example, would be the obvious one to me.
Percy.
Yeah.
I thought
better.
I thought you were specifically wanting a pun that is cat.
Yeah. But also, like, I don't know. The Great Gatsby feels weird to me.
Yeah.
Something about that doesn't sit right. I'm not going to be able to tell you what. I'm not a pun scientist. Yes, put a review on our show. We've earned
You were
it.
just interrupting my
Go
my.
fuck yourself.
Tell you what,
Go
put
go
a
leave
review
it.
and
Go
give
leave
us
a
a
pun.
cool cat name
Yeah.
in the review,
Go,
so we
if
know
you
what
leave us-
episode you came from.
If you leave a review, tell us what your better cat pun and tell me that Guy is wrong because his cat puns are fucking shit. And if you like that, go to at Living by Law on Twitter and at Living by Law on Facebook.com to keep updated on what we do here. We mostly release them every 2 weeks. We try and keep up with that schedule. At this point, right now, it's very busy with everything going on at the moment. We're trying to keep to 2 to 3 weeks. But
Don't mention it.
yeah, we're trying to keep on schedule. So, but thank you so much for listening to this episode. We appreciate it. If you want more, you know where to find us now. If you want to get in contact, message us on Facebook is the quickest way. You can also,
we will respond to you.
if you don't have
Oh,
Facebook,
God.
if you don't leave Facebook, you can send us an email at livingbythelaw@gmail.com, but we'd probably be slower to get to there. And
No,
yeah.
I have that attached to my normal emails. I see those every
Oh,
now.
well, that's good. Cool. So let us know if you have any troubles, and thank you for
Let us know if
listening.
you have any troubles.
Yeah. Let us
Hope you're all okay.
send me a
Have a
message.
good-
Are you,
Enjoy. There's
if
a
you-
lot of shit going on right now.
if you're not
Yeah,
okay,
we
if-
understand.
we're here for you. If you want to listen to this podcast, if that helps you, I'm glad we could be of help.
Hope
And-
we helped you.
and
through a long
remember-
drive or-
You've got two and a half days straight of us to listen to, basically, at this point.
that is true. And if you
I
don't,
just
want,
had the spirit sucked from my body.
and if there's any particular world or particular thing you want us to talk about, chuck us that message. Chuck us a message. We'll ask how you're doing, and you leave us that thing. We'll do it.
We'll try and look at it if we can.
Guy is still researching Bionicles. That's still on the list.
So it's so fucking complicated. It's so fucked up.
It's a big law. It's a big law.
I'm trying my best, but like every time I try and boot up the Word document now, it crashes.
They released a new
That's not a
Bionicle.
joke.
and
I
it
just don't know
updates.
what's wrong with that document.
Oh,
It's corrupted.
alright. Well, have a good night. Goodbye.
Good
And
evening.
sleep
Good
well.
afternoon. Sleep well. I love you.
And thank you for listening.
And enjoy your muesli.
And don't forget about the drink that you've got in the center console. It's getting cold.
Or too hot.
What the fuck are you talking about?
It's getting too hot. Like, what if it's like a cold drink? It's like getting to room
Oh,
temperature.
okay. No, I was thinking you were talking about like a hot chocolate was gonna get hotter. It's
How's
just
the
gonna
hot
get,
chocolate
like-
gonna get hotter? Where are you
I don't
living?
know,
Where
you
hot
sit
chocolate's
there
getting
and
hotter?
decided it just
What do you
started
mean,
getting
guy? What do you mean?
If
If you enjoyed our podcast, please leave us a review on iTunes and tell your friends. The link is in the description, and thank you in advance. Also, follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Living by the Law to keep updated on all the latest about our podcast. We have been, and always will be, living by the law. Thank you for your company, and good night.